What is up, crew? It's your boy Kaycem, and on today's video we're going to be talking about how to draw characters in perspective from imagination. Now, if you've never been here before, my name is Kaycem and I'm a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, teaching everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. So if you're interested in some free art education, or you want to hang out with my dog who is over there, make sure to leave a follow out here on Twitch, and also like and subscribe if you're watching from YouTube. But on today's video, we are going to be talking about the perspective basics, how to draw the landmarks of the body, and of course, how to also rotate the body in the human pose in different angles from different perspectives. It'll be super fun, but also very challenging. So I hope you guys enjoy today's video. There you go. That was my intro. Woo! Kaycem getting good with these intros out here. Sheesh. All right. But hold on. Let me show you guys really quick. Some of y'all are like, yo, man, this is gonna be tough, Kaycem. What the heck are you throwing us into? Let me show you guys really quick where to grab some of these references for today's stream. Things that I think will be helpful for today. Am I right? First one right here is gonna be the worksheet, obviously. So we're gonna be using this one reference, and from this one reference, we're gonna be drawing 3 other different poses from imagination. So make sure you grab this one today, guys. It's the weekend if you're watching on live right now, so plenty of time to practice this one. Get some good art practice, you know what I'm saying, on our little break here. Now, this is another sheet that we covered for day 21, which was character proportions. This will come in handy when we actually start placing in landmarks and stuff, and when we start rotating our characters. Being able to figure out some of the general rough proportions of the human body will actually be really helpful. And then last but not least, I'm throwing in here this head cheat sheet here that I made last year, which covers a few of the things like the skeletal anatomy, but I mostly care today about drawing the character from different angles. And I thought this head little kind of diagrams here, I think might be helpful for you guys watching today. All right. So make sure you grab those. And with that being said, I guess let's get started. Thank you for the follow too, Julius Chu. Thank you, appreciate that. We also got a follow from Flower Pulp Fiction, great name. Atina Dia and everybody else coming in here today. Welcome in. Let's jump right in. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this reference. I'm going to shrink it up a little bit. Now, I think one of the best things that we can do as we start looking at some of these poses and stuff is I think it's beneficial for us to start to observe some of the simple perspective first, like what's going on here in this drawing. Now, if you guys want a more in-depth demo of perspective, highly recommend you check out my 2 previous days of the bootcamp. If you're watching from YouTube, you'll find them there. But all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of establish kind of a general box here of a general kind of a structure here for this box. And I'm going to say that this right here is going to be, it'll help us establish just kind of the general idea of the perspective that we're looking at. All right. So you can kind of see here that this box is actually kind of roughly in a 1-point perspective. So not too bad right there. And then I want to just put the horizon line somewhere arbitrary. Let's just say we're putting it right here at that elbow mark right there. Okay, so this is going to be kind of where we're going to be starting off our drawing, just to get an idea here of what's going on, right? We got this box slightly tilted in perspective, but not too much that I feel like it's you know, a little wonky there. So I'm going to duplicate this. We're going to kind of shrink this one down. And this will just remind us like, okay, this is the scene that we're working with right now. And our vanishing points are basically going in. Let's do it in a nice different color here. They're going to be going in here. Let's just kind of, here, I'll clean it up a little bit more. I'll do it so that it's like right here. Boop. Vanishing points. Okay, that's gonna be one vanishing point right there for this one, and then I'm gonna kind of fix this one up. Now, interestingly enough, I ended up watching some videos the other day because someone had a really good question on my stream about how whether or not the horizon line and the eye line and stuff will always be in the scene that you're drawing, and the answer that I gave was that no and yes. And I think this is just kind of for those of you who are kind of more interested in perspective and stuff. It's very interesting because Generally speaking, eye level and horizon line are kind of synonymous when you're talking perspective, though they're technically not the same exact thing, because you can have something that is different for horizon lines than the eye level. You might have something that's higher up in high level, and then the actual physical horizon line of what you're seeing is lower or higher, right? Now, if there's anything to keep in mind here about horizon lines, and I'll actually use eye level. I think eye level is more accurate here. I think the interesting thing to kind of keep in mind is that when you're looking at perspective, oftentimes perspective and what you're seeing is relative to the ground plane that you're standing on, right? So there's an assumption there that if you're looking at something and you're standing, like let's say on the ground, all these things that you're looking at are also relative to the ground. But let's say, for example, the ground is slanted or the ground is uneven, or different things are in different parts of, they're in different angles. You know what I'm saying? In which case, perspective becomes a little bit more tricky, because everything then will have its own relative view of its own ground plane, and so does its own eye view plane. Now, we're not going to get into that today, because I think that's a pretty advanced topic that it gets into. Rotating boxes, not only in the x-axis, but also in the y-axis and the z-axis. But I wanted just to give you guys some thoughts there to consider, that when you're talking about perspective, you're mostly viewing perspective relative to a stable ground plane that is parallel to what you're where you're at as well. And thank you guys. A lot of you guys are a lot of you guys are complimenting my hair today. Thank you. I didn't do anything different. I just moved my hair to the side. That was it. That's all I did. Someone said I had the oppa hairstyle. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming it's some K-drama Korean reference, but you know, we got a look today. All right. But anyways, let's go in here and let's kind of start laying out some of the structure and stuff. Yeah, but for those of you who are watching today, I'd love to know, how are you guys doing? Those of you watching live, how would you guys rate your week so far? We're finally in, the weekend and stuff. So I'd love to know and hear about how the weekend is for people. I'm actually going to lower the horizon line a little bit, because I really like having it a little bit lower, maybe around the belly button there. And then that way, this will actually make it, match up a little bit more with what we actually freehanded as a box. But yeah, give me out of 10. Out of 10, how was your weekend so far? I think my weekend started off pretty rough, which I think is the usual trend. Mondays start off pretty rough, and then depending on how the week goes and how busy I am, it can sometimes get much better, or it can sometimes get worse, and then you're kind of like, damn. But I would say so far it's been a solid 8 for me. A lot of productivity coming out here, and yeah, I'm very excited for just being productive in general. Okay, but let's go ahead here and let me kind of lock in these poses. All right. Commission work, usual 6, could be better. 10 out of 10. Nice. Okay. Won't get into detail. All right, a little teasing out here. All right, so let's talk a bit about drawing characters in perspective. Now, if you guys don't remember, or maybe if it's your first time here, one of the first things I want to do with you guys is always establish some sort of structure or point of contact for your characters they're interacting with, whether it's the ground or it's going to be the something they're sitting on or standing on, whatever have you. In this case right here, she's going to be standing or sitting on this box, right? So let's go ahead here and kind of lock out the general kind of perspective there of the pelvis. So we're going to just kind of lay out here this box of the pelvis kind of sitting down here. And what I want to show you guys today is we're going to speed run this first pose here, so that way we can get into the next poses. But what I wanted to show you guys is really being able to visualize the 3D forms that you're working with is going to be such a huge help, not only for drawing environments and stuff, but if you want to draw characters, let's say you want to be an animator, or you want to draw even characters as a character designer, and you want to rotate characters, and if you're doing a different types of views, understanding perspective is, I would say, a given. So we've been on perspective for this is our 3rd day doing perspective, which is also, by the way, our last day of doing perspective. So just keep that in mind, guys. After today, we're not going to be tackling perspective as much. We're going to be focusing on dynamic poses for the next 3 days. And then for the last 3 days of my boot camp, we're going to be doing special topics like how to draw clothing, how to draw different builds, and how to draw different types of ages of characters. So age groups and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind, that this is going to be the last day that we cover this. But that doesn't mean that perspective is not going to be a part of what we do when we're drawing, right? And hey, thank you for the follow, Agua Lupus. Welcome into the Kaycem crew. Thank you so much for the follow. I'd love to know how you came across my stream today. Thank you so much. Did you find me through recommended? Was it possibly through the front page? I don't think I'm on the front page today, just because I feel like Saturdays are always crazy, and there's what's it called? And then there's some tournaments going on right now. So yeah. Getting used to perspective will be engraved into that muscle memory. Things will get fluidly easily. Yes, right. And that's kind of the goal, right? Is you want to make sure when you're like perspective isn't something, I mean, hopefully you'll get to a state where perspective can be something that you just start thinking of as you draw, and not necessarily something where like, oh man, I gotta draw a grid and this and that. Because as you will see, whenever I draw a scene in perspective, I almost rarely draw a grid. I usually just add on here the eye level line, where the eye level is going to be, where the horizon line is going to be, and that's it. That's it. Maybe I'll add a little mini grid for the ground plane, but honestly, I keep things super simple. Now, really quick, what I'm showing you guys here is I'm using this kind of mannequin shape, and we'll kind of clean up the pose and stuff to make it look nicer. But nice things you can keep in mind here whenever you're drawing characters in perspective like this, and as we start rotating them, is you can actually pay attention to some of the general landmarks here that are lining up pretty nicely, right? So, for example, right here, this knee, pretty good. I like this knee right here, because this knee surprisingly kind of lines up with this knee right here. Now, obviously, it's not going to be exact, but you know, we're going to be using these general placements here to kind of get us started as we start, you know, piecing our character and all of that stuff, right? So let me go ahead and kind of warp that out a little bit, maybe give some more volume here. So we haven't, remember, we're not even drawing in here the muscles and stuff just yet. I'm just mostly focusing on the simplified structures, but we will get into softening these things out and making it look more organic in a bit, right? And thank you for the follow too, Leo Cost. Appreciate the follows out here, guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream so far. And yeah, if you have any questions, by the way, please feel free to ask me any questions. Again, I'm not just here to draw on Twitch. I'm here to also help you guys out and provide as much assistance as I can on those of you on your art journey. So whether you have questions to me for me about what we're covering today, or maybe things from the past, or just questions in general, do feel free to ask out here. More than happy to answer them. Okay, but let's go up top here now. We're going to kind of lay here the box plane here for the torso and all of that stuff. And at this stage, again, I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and I'm also going to simplify it a little bit for you guys, because I think if I tried to do this pose exactly, which we can do, it'll involve a little bit of rotation there on the torso, and maybe a little bit of different angle shifts there for how the kind of collarbone rests there, because you'll have different positionings of the shoulder, slight positions. But I think for today's demo, we'll just kind of keep it nice and chill. All right. Oh, and thank you for the follow, Noah Sisig. Hey, I like Sisig. Welcome in. Shout out to my fellow Filipinos in the chat. All right, but you can see here how I'm just, at this stage, this is nothing too crazy, right? We have the reference, we got the pose. So all we're doing is placing in our mannequin landmarks, and I'm using simplified shapes because it'll be a lot easier to rotate some of these simplified forms than it is going to be to rotate some of the anatomy. Now, as you can see here, I'm lining up certain areas here, like for example, the elbows, right? These are going to line up, and then the knees are going to line up, and we're going to utilize these things as we talk about, rotating these forms. Do you often exaggerate poses which look stiff IRL, or does it depend on the situation? It depends on the situation. If you want to make a character look more dynamic, we're actually going to be covering, I'll show you guys a quick teaser here, but Monday's stream, we're actually going to be talking about drawing dynamic poses, and I have here 3 variations of what I consider as dynamic poses. So we'll talk a bit about that and how to utilize gesture and perspective and positioning and foreshortening to get more dynamic poses. And then we'll also talk about some fighting poses as well. So action poses where we might see some exaggeration too. And even on my last stream that we covered here, I actually talked a bit about exaggeration of warping perspective and stuff as well. So these are some examples we covered on the previous day. But I do think exaggeration of a pose generally is a good thing, but it's also something that you shouldn't do all the time, because there are some characters, for example, who are naturally stiff, right? They're supposed to look stiff and rigid. And then there are some characters that are meant to be more fluid. So making sure you understand the character and the intent behind their pose, I think, is more important than just being like, everything's got to be, you know what I'm saying? Everything's got to be fluid. Everything's got to have crazy gesture, because that's not necessarily true, if that makes any sense. Also, Nurse Leslie, hey, welcome back in. And also Takamari, welcome back in as well. So it's more like what the pose needs. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes exaggeration of poses doesn't also mean like, oh, everything has to be bendy and curvy. Sometimes it means that you're exaggerating a pose to make it look more stiff, right? Like maybe there's a character and they're standing in a way that's a little uneven, but they should be a well-grounded character because they're a tough, hardened veteran detective or whatever, you know? They've seen a lot of things, so nothing phases them, and so they stand in a way that's pretty stern and tough, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it depends on the character, and exaggeration can mean so many different things. But yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, either for idle pose on a turnaround or a pose that really brings out character. Like, I think posing is very interesting because posing is another way to convey expression, right? So people always focus on like, oh, the face and making sure you get a cool expression on the face, but forget that even how a character stands and walks and sits can actually tell a lot about their personality. So do keep that in mind when you are posing your characters, that it, you know, not all poses are going to work for that character. Maybe they prefer to stand or sit in a certain way. So let's see here. It wasn't great, but you did something. You're proud I painted a portrait of my boyfriend. Hey, that's super awesome, Nurse Leslie. That's super dope. Yeah, that's great. I personally don't like doing art for my family because I don't know. I feel like if I draw something for my like sister or something, and then she'll just be like, hey, remember how you drew that thing for me? Can you draw me another thing? Or can you draw something for my friend really quick? And, you know, it's like, and then it's like they get that family discount because it's, you know, and it's just like, oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. Please don't do this to me. It just keeps going, yeah. And then all of a sudden your commissions are just free commissions that you do for family. But no, I think it's sweet to, you know, on occasion, you know, do something nice for your family or significant other. Just don't be like me and don't get caught up in the don't get caught up in the trap of having to do art for free because you happen to be that one person in the family that does a little bit of art. And so they're like, oh, Kaycem does some art? Well, you know what? Maybe we should ask them to do something here. And it's like, please let me draw my anime waifus and my and my Naruto Uzumakis. I don't want to draw your second uncle twice removed or whatever. You want to do an emo for me? Yeah. Too much have been given. Yeah, it happens to you now and then. Yeah, and it happens to all of us, I think, at some point. I think all of us artists have experienced some variation of that, where, you know, someone finds out that we do art and don't realize that art, you know, art requires a bit of labor. You know, you got to put some time in for art, and so it's not necessarily free. Especially if you're someone like me that, you know, I work in the industry and stuff, and I already got very limited time to begin with, and I'm also streaming on Twitch. My time is very limited, unfortunately. So if someone's going to ask me to draw something, it's either because I really want to do it for myself or because I'm getting paid to do it. But yeah, thank you for the follow. James was in that stream. Crunchy Ferrets, Noah Sisig, and everyone who's coming in here. For those of you who are coming in here today for the first time, we're actually covering how to draw characters in perspective from imagination. This is a very tough skill to learn, but hopefully it'll be a fun one for you guys to see. So basically what we're going to do, I'll show you guys an example of how this will look like. What we're doing today is basically what we did last year in one of my boot camps, where I showed you how I took a reference image like this right here, right? And from this reference image, we're going to break down obviously the proportions, the anatomy, all of that stuff, and the perspective. But then I'm going to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and take that same pose and let's actually rotate it. Let's go ahead and rotate it a little bit from imagination and see if we can draw that. And then if we feel good about that, let's go ahead and rotate it some more, but this time vertically, right? And then from there, we're going to go kind of draw this one out and see if we can figure out this pose. And then from there, if we're feeling extra spicy, we're going to try something like this, where we're actually going to take the pose and we're going to rotate it even to a more dramatic shot. And so I'm going to show you guys how to take a reference like this, and from this reference, be able to actually visualize it in different ways. So that way you can utilize references in different perspectives or whatever, but also just being able to be flexible with your character designs and draw things out from imagination. So that is actually the goal for today's stream. I hope it's not scary for you guys. I think it's actually a really fun thing to do once you start practicing it. But that is what we're doing today. That's what we're covering today. And thank you for the follow, Bruin Blood, Stella, and everybody else coming in here. The liquefied Flushed. Yeah, we got the Flushed emote out here. I added that one recently. Newest addition to the list. I got the idea from Ratlord. Ratlord always spams the Flushed emote, and I was like, yo, I gotta make one. We gotta do one. But right now, all I'm really doing is I'm laying out a general mannequin for you guys. Now, I want to remind you guys that, you know, this is not the, like, you don't have to draw it this way. I usually show this to you guys as a demo example because I think it's a lot easier to visualize the simplified mannequin, especially if you're first starting out. Because I always tell people, if you can do this, you can basically go do all the anatomy on top, right? This is actually the hardest part right here, is laying out this, like, laying out the simplified forms. I'll show you guys later when we actually do this. I'll lay out some of the anatomy and all the bells and whistles that, you know, you guys would like to see to be able to make this character look and feel more like the reference image, right? And look more human, if anything. Okay, but this is going to be overall the pose that we have. A pretty simplified pose, nothing too crazy. Let me go ahead and kind of just tweak a few things here just to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. But yeah, let's go in now and let's take this mannequin here that we have and let's actually start shaping it up, carving it out here to look a little bit more like the human model that we have there. Also, really quick, guys, I do run ads on my stream every hour, and one's running in about I don't know when. It'll be running right about now. So if you do get an ad, thank you again for sticking around for the ad break. They do help keep my streams monetarily viable and allow me to do what I'm doing out here on Twitch. If you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub. But either way, thanks for the support, and I hope to see you guys after the ad break. Cool. But anyways, for those of you who are here, let's go ahead now and let's actually start fleshing out here this pose. All right, so a few things that we're going to call out before we jump into actually doing the posing here is I want us to pay attention to general landmarks that I think will be very valuable when it comes to drawing out this character. Now, one of those is going to be the clavicle area right here, right? So we're going to be using the clavicle there. In this case, technically, I don't really like using the elbows, but I like here the 10th rib section right here. So we'll do 10th rib here, 10th ribs, and then here on this side we actually got the elbows, so we can use those as well. Another really great landmark is actually right here, the pelvis region, and that's going to be known as the ASIS, anterior superior iliac spine. Super dope. Here we'll use the knees as a general lock-in point as well. And then last but not least, I'm thinking the ankles are actually a pretty good indicator there that we can use. So what are these landmarks? Basically, these are landmarks that are going to be kind of good on, they're like even on both sides here, and we can use them to actually lay out our character in perspective on a grid, or when we're actually doing these from imagination. Now, there are going to be some landmarks that I think will be better than others. I think personally, the landmarks that are always consistent and relative to the body, those are going to be the ones I'm going to highlight here. The 10th rib, I think, is really, really great. The ASIS is also really great. And I think the clavicle is really great. So these are like three that I think are very valuable that you guys should keep in mind. Okay. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and drink some tea really quick. Thank you for the follows, Kake Nev. But yeah, let me know, guys. Are you back from the ad break? I was kind of stalling a little bit there. I didn't want to make sure. I wanted to make sure that people weren't missing out. For those of you who were, what's it called? Who were during the ad break. But yeah, if you did get ads, thank you again. I just want to let you guys know that I do run ads out here, because they do help keep my streams monetarily viable and allow me to do what I'm doing out here on Twitch and trying to make content as free and as accessible as possible out here. But all right, let's go in now, and I'm gonna start drawing over this form. And let me actually do something different because I want to keep some of the general notes that we got here, but I want to maybe just cover this one up with a little bit of a white layer here so we can just draw on top of it like so. That looks pretty good. And also, for those of you who are here watching right now, thank you for all the follows. Meadow, Games and Arts, Kake Neb. I'm gonna give a little quick intro of myself for those of you guys who are wondering. My name is Kaycem. I'm a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now, I'm actually prepping to work as a designer on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, or you like animation, anime, or you like hanging out with my dog who is over there sleeping right now, you can kind of see him here. Make sure to leave a follow out here and like and subscribe if you're watching from YouTube. But also, just keep in mind that this is an English only stream, so I know there's a lot of different people who are watching from different countries and different parts of the world. But please do keep the streams English, because that's unfortunately the only language I can understand in a proficient level, and so I won't be able to communicate with you guys if you speak a different language. Yeah, just a heads up. If I see it again multiple times, I might have to time you guys out. Just a heads up. Yeah. All right, but let's go ahead here. I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger, so that way you guys can kind of see a bit more of what we're covering today. But let's kind of jump in now, and let's start laying out some of the structure of this character here. And I'm going to try to keep, maybe we'll draw one nice one. You know what I'm saying? Just do this one a little bit nicer. And then from this nice one, we'll go into actually drawing out just a simplified structure for the future ones. But yeah, let me know in the chat if this has been helpful so far. I'd love to, let me know if there's anything here that you want me to cover more of, or if you're just kind of like, yeah, this is pretty chill. I'm vibing with this, Kaycem. Can't complain. Let me know out here in the chat. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to imagine as if we were carving out, right? So I'm going to carve out here the head and all of that stuff. And this is kind of how I normally draw stuff, whether if it's for work or just for fun. I'm always imagining the 3D forms and how I can kind of carve out these shapes here. Now, I don't normally draw mannequins and stuff like professionally for work. I mostly just go in and draw out the rough silhouette and all of that stuff. But whenever I'm streaming out here, I always like to show you guys my process, so that way it's, a little bit more understandable for those of you who maybe are still starting out. Just chilling, drawing along. Nice, super dope. Thank you for hanging out here. F for helpful. Here's what I will say. If you guys have any questions, please ask them right now, because this is going to be the time where I'm just going to be drawing and I'll be doing some of the anatomy and stuff. So if you guys have any questions for me, whether it's about what I'm doing today, or questions about what I do for work, or questions about how do you get a job in the industry, I don't know. Let me know. And also, Retro God, thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate that. What inserts into the 10th rib? There's nothing necessarily that inserts into the 10th rib, but there are some muscles that actually connect to the ribs in general. I think including the 10th rib, like the oblique muscles, and I believe the serratus muscles might connect to the 10th rib, but a little bit further back. But there's nothing that actually like inserts into it. But it is a really good bony landmark as well, because it, again, sticks out pretty consistently. Sticks out pretty consistently for sure. Yo, Mikey, let's see here. What software in iOS do you use to animate content like in Castlevania? So we use Harmony, and we also use We also use Clip Studio Paint for more kind of like shorter sequences. It can get pretty crazy though with Clip Studio, so depending on how big the sequences are. So for example, I've worked on like a 15-second sequence that was all framed out in CSP, and then from CSP you'll have multiple different layers of different characters. So like you can sometimes get a file that it has like 100 layers, for example, because there are just multiple shots and multiple sequences. Oh, sorry, there's multiple frames in a given sequence. And so then it's just like, whew, it can get pretty crazy pretty fast. But I would say between CSP, Harmony, and then After Effects for doing the more kind of, you know, bells and whistles and flames and all that. And also not to say that I'm currently working on Castlevania. I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm working on. Okay. Just that's kind of the general thing that we do. Let's see here. The straightest anterior still confuses me around the ribs since it's covered by with the lats and rhomboids. Yeah. There's a few tips and tricks that I show you guys on how to tackle that. We can maybe talk about that today. I'll see if there's like a proper angle that we can utilize that I think will look super dope. That would work well. Thanks for hanging out, Humiverse. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the questions. NDA? Yeah. Well, I mean, technically speaking, I can tell you guys what I'm working on. There's no NDA restriction on stuff that's already been publicly announced on projects that Powerhouse is working on. But I'd rather not tell you guys what I'm working on, mostly because I don't want any questions from people to be like, hey, can you tell me is this character going to be in this show? Or, you know, like how many episodes are going to be in the series and this and that. And then it's just like, look guys, you know, let's just chill for a little bit. Okay. You'll know when the show comes out. Right. So that's mostly the reason why I don't tell people, what I'm working on. It's not because I'm not allowed to. It's more just like, yeah, I'm not trying to get into trouble, and I don't want my stream to be about that conversation. Favorite animes? Ooh, great question. One of my favorite questions. Everybody in the chat, tell me your favorite animes. Right. Okay. I'll tell you guys the ones that I'm watching recently. I'm watching Vinland Saga right now. And surprisingly, I actually really enjoy Vinland Saga. I didn't really care for the first season. I was like, okay, it's whatever, you know, like angry boy protagonist tries to get revenge, blinded by revenge, and he looks like a goof. I wasn't really vibing with it too much. But season 2, this whole farm, like a Farmville saga, I like it. I like Farmville, baby. Looking like Harvest Moon out here. But One Piece is always on my top there. It's hard to beat One Piece when it's just like One Piece is like the modern day Odyssey. You know what I'm saying? One Piece to me is like it's what I don't even know, man. It's just such a classic. But I would say other than One Piece, other top animes I really like is Full Metal Alchemist, one of my favorites. Other favorites of mine are Samurai Champloo. Gurren Lagann is on my top 5, and then Yu Yu Hakusho. I would say I'd put those are my top 5. So One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho, or not in this order, but One Piece, Full Metal Alchemist, Samurai Champloo, Yu Yu Hakusho, and then Gurren Lagann. That's like my top 5. Again, not in any particular order. It's kind of hard to put them in a particular order, but I would say those are my solid ones. Mushishi, yeah, that's a pretty good one. Mushishi, that's a good one for sure. Thank you for the follows, by the way, too. Como Neko, Buscas, Games and Arts, welcome in, guys. And yeah, good suggestions here from people. Inuyasha, I actually watched a little bit of Inuyasha recently just to catch up on it, because I remember growing up, I only watched little kind of bits here and there from whatever I saw being played on the, on TV, but I never actually fully watched it. So I watched about the first like 50-ish episodes of Inuyasha. Surprisingly not bad, actually. I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but I can see I can see the appeal for it, especially at the time that it came out. I think it still holds up really well, actually, despite it being a more relatively older anime. Yeah, Gurren Lagann is pretty good. But yeah, welcome in everybody who's coming in. Glad to have you guys on here today. Yeah, and for those of you who are wondering about why we're talking about anime, it is because I do work in the animation industry, so I do have a pretty strong appreciation for anime in general. I love anime. People have asked me if I've ever considered working in the game industry. I've thought about it, but honestly, I feel like I don't play games as much, and I care more about anime than I do about games, to be honest. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. Like if Naughty Dog approached me and said, "Hey, we want you to do designs for Last of Us 3," you know what I'm saying? I'm not like, hey, I'm not gonna be like, nah, I don't want that. You know, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll definitely put the time in. But it's more something like, I personally, if I had to choose, I'd rather work on anime and stuff. Thanks for hanging out here, Dynamo. Oh, did I not close out the prediction, by the way? I thought I did. Interesting. I did close it out. Oh, I guess it just still shows the number. That's super weird. Yeah, no problem, Mikey. Again, guys, this is probably the best time to ask me questions since I'm not like doing any particular tutorial right now. We're going to be doing that again when we actually draw the next pose. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't be shy, even if you're new out here. Again, part of why I stream on Twitch is because I want to try to help you guys out, and you can think of my streams as like free mentorship. You know, if you have any questions, things that you might be struggling with, or things that you're just interested in, like you're like, man, Kaycem, I've been trying to break into the industry, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm not getting jobs. We can talk about that as well too. I think getting into the industry is an interesting topic because it's not only dependent, I think, on your artistic skill, but very much also dependent on how well you advertise yourself and portray yourself in the works that you do, right? But I don't know, if you guys don't want to talk about that, we can talk about, honestly, feel free to ask me anything. You appreciate the tutorial videos on YouTube. Thank you so much. Yeah, for those of you coming in here, I do got a YouTube channel. We started uploading more recently, I think last month or about a month and a half ago, and we're already at 5K subscribers on YouTube. So claps in the chat for that. That's super dope. I didn't think we'd be growing that crazy that fast on YouTube, but I really appreciate you guys showing support out there, watching the videos, leaving all those comments as well too. They do help me out tremendously on my channel. So yeah, and I will do my best to keep uploading content and stuff. So if you like what you see, please leave a like on the videos and stuff. They do help me out a lot, and they let YouTube know who to recommend, who to recommend these videos to and stuff as well. Because sometimes YouTube doesn't know, because I'm still I'm still a pretty small channel relative to all the big fish content creators over there, still really small over there. So yeah. How long have I been streaming on Twitch? Yeah, that's a great question. I've been streaming on Twitch for about 3 years. So actually 2 weeks ago was my 3-year anniversary and my birthday stream on Twitch. But I've been streaming for about 3 years on Twitch. And funny enough, when I actually started streaming on Twitch, I was still working as a software engineer. And so at the time, I was mostly doing art because I took a 6-year break, a 6-year hiatus from doing any art, because I didn't think I was going to be a professional artist. I didn't think I had what it took and all that stuff. And so I decided to become a software engineer, did all that stuff. And then I decided to stream on Twitch 3 years ago because I was like, you know what? I kind of want to make friends who are artists, and not because I don't have any art friends, like, I don't know about you guys, but like, put an F in the chat if you've ever felt like, you've had to change careers, or you had to pivot to do a different type of studying for your school or different work that wasn't art related, but you kind of wish that you could have done art, right? Put an F in the chat if that's you right now. Because that was kind of me, when I was like coming out of high school and stuff. I was like, man, it sucks that I can't, continue pursuing art. Or I gotta study other things, or even afterwards, I was like, oh man, I gotta work on this other stuff, and like I'd rather do some art, but also I'm not even that good. So that was like my mentality back then too. I was like, man, I'm not even that good, this and that. Thankfully, things are, I mean, again, now I work full time now, so much better. Let's see here. I'm good in traditional art for comics. Do I need to be able to do digitally to make art? No, not at all. Definitely not at all. I think if you want to make art, you can do everything traditional. I know plenty of artists who do things traditional still. But I will say that if you want to work in the industry and stuff, most industries still have some, still kind of require you to do some digital aspects. So even in the comic industry, I know a few artists who've done like Marvel covers and stuff like that. And they'll use, like, for those of them who still do traditional, what they'll do is they'll draw majority of it traditionally, and then they'll just bring it into a software like Photoshop or whatever, and then do some cleanup that way, right? So like you can do all of that, though I do think it's going to be hard professionally to only do things traditionally in the industry. If it's your own work, yeah, heck yeah, you know, there's definitely no need to feel like you have to go in and do everything digitally. But I do think it doesn't hurt to learn how to do some of these things, for sure, if that makes any sense. How did you break free of that mentality? Which mentality? The one about, oh, I'm too bad or whatever, I'm not good enough to work professionally? Is that what you're asking about? Yeah, right. And for some of you are not trying to go pro, right? And that's completely fine too. So if you're just doing it for yourself, I don't think you don't got to do whatever, you know. You don't have to be on Instagram, you don't have to be a digital artist, you don't got to do this and that. Just have fun, enjoy the vibe, enjoy the ride. Oh, thank you for the gifted sub, Billy. Appreciate that. To Heathen.2. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Were you ever afraid that your job now will spoil art for you? No, actually, I really enjoy my job a lot, and the people I work with are super great. I improve a lot as an artist, and so for me, it's been an opportunity just to get better and sharpen my skills. If there's anything that working in the animation industry has ruined for me, it's that it's hard for me to watch a poorly animated series, because man, my animation instincts tell me I should fix these things. It's like, yo, what is this? Like, why does that face look so off? Or why do they do the run sequence like that? I don't know. That's the only thing. If there's anything that's been ruined for me working in the industry, it's that, man. It's like, it's sometimes hard for me to watch something that just looks so funky, because I know it could have been drawn better, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, let me talk about breaking free from that mentality. I think that's a great question. So the question for those of you coming in just now was, how do you like break free from that mentality of feeling like, you know, it's too late for you? Maybe you feel like you're not good enough to work in the industry or whatever have you, right? How do you deal with that kind of stuff? And I think for me, the thing that was actually really helpful, that allowed me to be able to continue doing art despite feeling all that, maybe like that mental block, was just focusing on wanting to get better as an artist, not because I was trying to do it as a job, but mostly because I wanted to just do art for fun, and I wanted to experience what I felt when I was younger, back when I was still a kid watching Saturday morning cartoons and you know, drawing characters for fun and all that stuff. Like, that's what I wanted to relive, because I felt like I lost a lot of that. I think as I was being more stressed about trying to work professionally and figuring those things out, and having my Asian parents tell me like, oh, you know, you should probably just, you know, don't do art, like just be an engineer, it's a lot safer and stuff, all of that stuff. Being told that consistently made me feel like, you know, I was super stressed about the prospects of being an artist in general. And I felt like that for me really ruined art in some ways, if that made any sense. Like it felt like it was more of a job that I had to accomplish, and that I had to be good because I had to prove that I could do it as a living. not necessarily because I wanted to do it in the first place. So the first thing I did was, personally, I was just like, okay, well, how do I start drawing again for fun? Just for me, just to, get back in the groove and all of that stuff, not because I'm trying to get a job. How do I get back into that state of mind to do that? Because I think if you can do that, then I think you'll have a much more successful longevity when it comes to being an artist. Or in general, this is not even just like with visual arts, but I think in a lot of creative fields, right, that feel like there's a pressure there to try to perform, I think having that can become really helpful. So that was my first goal, was just trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I have fun with art again, and do it in a way that I think, makes sense to me. And then once I started doing that, I started kind of going in and just focusing on my fundamentals. And I think there was a point in time where it wasn't necessarily that I felt like I was ready to work professionally, but it was more like I wanted to work professionally. I think there was a point where I saw an opening for a job listing to work on Legend of Korra, and I told myself, like, yo, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to work on this because it was such a huge impact to me growing up. As a kid watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and stuff, I want to be able to contribute to shows like that in the future. And that was actually what sparked that interest for me, was saying, like, okay, this is something I wanted to do. And then the question then became not necessarily, oh, I'm not good enough to ever be that, but more so, what are the steps I need to take to get to that, right? If you get what I'm saying, like, it was more like, okay, this is what I want to do. I've set my mind on it. Let's go ahead and make a game plan. Whether it takes me 6 months or 6 years, right? That was the plan that I had set out for myself. And so I think, again, I want to reiterate that what I encourage for a lot of you guys to do is to focus on making art something that you actually want to do, and not something that you have to do, or even trying to find success. Like, don't let that be like, oh man, I gotta go be popular on Instagram and make commissions and all of that, because otherwise, like, it's over for me. I can't be an artist otherwise. Like, you can still be an artist and not do any of those things, so just, like, have fun with that process. And that's kind of what I would encourage to a lot of artists. And then once you've kind of built that or set that mindset, then I would say, like, okay, maybe go in and start thinking about how you would plan and approach transitioning and wanting to work in the industry. And again, a lot of that I think really comes down to just observing what people are looking for in the industry, what kind of skill sets are valued, and then from there developing those fundamental skill sets, right? Maybe the skill set is about being able to draw characters in different angles. Maybe you want to be able to draw characters in motion if you're working in animation, for example, right? So I think those are some of the key things there that I would think about. Thank you for the Prime sub, Relax Quasar. Sheesh, appreciate it. How do I feel about AI bots like Dolly 2? Genuine question I've had for a while and wanted to ask someone who do art as their job. What are my thoughts on it? I think as someone who used to be a software engineer, I think that I understand the potential for this technology to help better artists in general. I think from a practical standpoint at this current time, with the early developments of it, I don't think it's at a place right now that is, I think, helping artists. But I do think there can be a time in the future where artists will be able to leverage those tools. Right now, I think it's a little bit, it's technically developed in a way that's usable, but not ethically developed in a way that can actually be commercialized and not hurt the artists who are being fed into these programs in the first place. So that's what I'll say. So it's a little bit of slight optimism. I'm not super against it. I'm not, I think the technology's dope, and I have an appreciation for how it all works, but I don't think it's something that I feel like is at a place right now that I'm excited for it to use it on my daily workflow right now. But yeah, let me know if that was a fair take. I don't know, a decent take out there. Let's see if there's any other questions in the chat really quick. Yeah, let me know, guys. If I did miss any questions, by the way, just feel free to retype them in the chat. Re-ask those questions and stuff. Because sometimes the chat goes pretty fast and then I miss certain things. So just re-ask a question if I missed it, and I will do my best to answer those questions again. Thank you for all the follows, Dante, Jay Riley, Annie Moon, and everyone else coming in here. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of speed up here a little bit more. I'm trying to like make this look nice, but I realize that today's stream is not focused on making it look nice. It's focused primarily on the perspective. So I'm going to just, I gotta let it go, and I'll clean it up after if we have some time. Maybe we'll go back in and just kind of polish it up a bit more. But I do want to make the character look a little bit more on model and stuff and just kind of clean that out. One interesting thing is ChatGPT had a recent but exposed user information to other users. It's good enough for fun AI work but can't protect itself. Yeah, it's good for, I think right now it's not bad, and it's like, okay, it's maybe bad. There can be potentially malicious intent behind a lot of those things, so you definitely got to watch out. But yeah, I think for now, just use it for fun, see how it works, keep an eye out on it. You might find it to be useful in the future, you might not, and that's kind of my general take there. Do you feel like work is too repetitive sometimes? Sometimes it can be. So sometimes I've worked on, for example, I'll show you guys an example of this. I'm not going to go too into detail, but sometimes I've worked on a scene, for example, that's very similar to another scene, and it's like, okay, like this is fine. And that can get tiring for sure. But thankfully with the production that I'm working on, a Powerhouse, there's a variety of different types of scenes and stuff and different characters to work on. It feels like almost every episode they're introducing so many new cool characters, and so because of that, I'm always working on a different character. So even though I'm working on the same type of scene, like maybe a close-up zoom-in character shot where they're, like maybe the camera is zooming into a character turning their head out of shock or something, even though that type of scene might occur a lot, it'll be different because I might be drawing a male character or a female character or an older character or a younger character, and so I do get some diversity from that. But work is work as well, so there are times where my work can get a little stale, but that's also part of it too. Okay, but I just wanted to fix up here the face. I'll show you guys the before and after. Yeah, I like the eyes. I think I shifted the eyes a little bit better. I like that much more interesting eye shape there. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's a great question, actually. There was a question about AI that was pretty good. Was it the one that I just answered? What was it? Wait, what was the question? Huh? Did I miss a question? Okay, let's go in here and let's start laying out now the rest of this pose here. All right. She's a lot skinnier than what I drew out, so I'm going to kind of shift some of the gesture there just a tad bit. Okay. And yo, hey, White Leash, welcome back in. I've noticed that if I try to draw from imagination, it seems that I have made no progress. Although the drawings from references are quite good. How can I fix it? Oh, actually, QWERTY, that's actually what we're doing today. So today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to take this reference image, and then from this reference image, I'm going to show you guys how to actually draw the same pose from imagination, from different perspectives and different angles. And so I would actually highly encourage you and anybody else who has that problem as well. Like, guys, put an F in the chat if you've ever had this problem right here, where you're like, Kaycem, I feel like I feel like I can draw from reference really well, but the moment I try to draw stuff from imagination, man, my drawings look like trash. Put an F in the chat, because this stream is actually the stream that is a great exercise to be able to expand your knowledge of drawing from imagination, being able to build your visual library, and not be so reliant on references as much. Not to say that it's bad, by the way. You can totally use references all the time for work. We know we use references every single day for work. But I think it is nice to also be able to build your visual library and develop the skill sets that allow you to come up with interesting things without having to spend time looking for that particular reference, right? So highly encourage you guys to join in on today's exercise because after we finish off this pose, I'm going to be showing you guys how to rotate this pose from different angles, different perspectives, and you'll see here kind of my thought process for how I build up things from imagination, right? I can't find enough references to draw people in different positions from the ground angle to the sky. Sometimes someone standing is easier, but any position like kneeling is a little difficult. Again, Billy, I would say this is that stream, because watch this. I'll show you guys, for those of you who are coming in right now. Today's stream, the goal is for me to show you guys, we actually did this exercise last year, but I'm going to show you guys how to take a pose like this, a reference like this, and from using our imagination and visual library and building up the forms, we can actually draw the pose from imagination in different perspective angles, different views, eventually getting to something crazy like this. So we can take a sitting pose, a kneeling pose, or whatever, and actually be able to start visualizing these poses from different angles using some of the techniques I'll cover today, right? And then these techniques will also be able to help you translate those skills to be working to work in something that's a little bit more more from imagination or whatever have you. And yes, guys, these videos are all going to be available for free on my YouTube channel. And the best part about that too is my YouTube channel actually, I have my editors who work and clean up the videos a little bit. So they're actually going to be a little bit more precise over on my YouTube channel. So I highly recommend it. I've been growing over there on YouTube. We're trying to grow the channel this year. And it's been growing amazingly. It's been growing tremendously, and all the comments have been incredible. So, yeah, I would say take a look at that. And hopefully that one's super helpful. Yo, thank you so much. Thank you so much for another gifted to White Leash as well. Appreciate that. Sheesh. Let's see here. Making you press F all day with these knowledgeable bombs. I know. It's what we do out here on my streams, you know? I ask you guys these critical questions because these are questions that I also, you know, deal with as well, like things that I've struggled with as an artist. Those are things that I just ask you guys, and it happens to be that you guys also, unfortunately, or fortunately, maybe, still dealing with the same things that I deal with sometimes too. So the F-bombs are rough. Thank you for the follows. Lena, Lewis, DC Dadino, External Locus, Perkinator, Damney, Animum, Jay Riley, and everyone else coming in here, guys. Thank you so much for the follows today. I would love to know, for those of you who are coming in here today, how'd you guys come across my stream on a weekend? Did you find my streams through recommended? Was it through the front page? Was it through just the art category on Twitch? Like, let me know. Let me know what brought you guys here. Was it from my YouTube channel? Because that's dope. There have been a few people who've come out here and be like, yeah, I actually found you through YouTube. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. It's working. It's working. People are finding me. That's dope. She has no muscle. I mean, she has muscle, but she has very little muscle definition. That's okay. We don't got to make every character buff. But I would have at least liked to add some muscle definition for you guys. Let's see here. Yeah, welcome in everyone who's coming back in here today. It's going well. It's going well today, Alvi. Your YouTube deserves way more subscribers. Dang, thank you, Papo Flex. I appreciate that. But you know, again, I'm just starting out, so it's okay. I mean, I don't mind the growth of my channel right now, because I think right now, I feel like for me, I want, as long as I know that there are people who are finding my video and finding them useful, I think that's all that matters to me. I'm not trying to make my channel be super viral, and I don't think it'll ever be something like that. I don't think it'll ever be like a Mr. Beast viral channel, but as long as my channel is, you know, helping people out, I think that's all that I care about. And I will continue to upload videos for as long as I'm able to and sustainably able to, because yeah, work can get pretty busy and all that other stuff. But, you know, I try to have videos ready for you guys at least twice a week. So I try to upload 2 videos a week on my channel. You went to the art category. Oh, cool. All right. You woke up drawing and now I found myself in class. Yeah, again, I will say this is a pretty educational art stream out here on Twitch. There's not a lot of us who teach art on Twitch. So, yeah, I hope that's okay with you guys. Again, you know, I try to make it as fun as I can too, so it's not like just like a boring, like, oh man, I gotta go to lecture today. I try to be like fun, engaging content out here, despite some of the topics I'm talking about being pretty dense overall. I try to make it engaging. But it's tough. It can be tough to make certain topics fun. Like perspective is so, I try to make perspective fun for you guys, but perspective is tough. Okay, let's be real here. I don't think perspective is easy, and I think some of the concepts of perspective can get pretty difficult. Like it's kind of like anatomy. Like anatomy can be chill, but it can also be incredibly complex, depending on how deep and how far the rabbit hole you want to go. And similarly, perspective is kind of like that too. Like there's some basic perspective stuff that I teach you guys, but if we want to go into the more crazy perspective and talking about different ground planes and different horizon lines and eye view and rotations and all of that stuff, like, whew, we'd be here for days, man. I'll be teaching that for a long time. So I try to keep it as digestible and as accessible as I possibly can. Thank you for the follow, Gunnar Loss. I found you through this one friend of a twice removed cousin whose brother friend told your cousin told your brother to told me. Damn, there you go. Got me into streaming art. I just want to thank you. Oh, nice, McTwitchy. Let me actually, I'll give you a follow. You know what? I'm always trying to find new creators out here on Twitch. Yeah, super dope. Oh, thanks, Pirate Jack. Yeah, my hairstyle is actually just, I didn't get a haircut or anything. No joke, I just moved my hair to the side because my hair has been getting extra long as of recently, and I need to be able to not have my hair go all the way down here and, you know, touch my eyes and stuff. So yeah, that's all. That's literally the only reason why my hair is different today. All right, let's go in here and I'm gonna actually lower the pelvis just a little bit, not too much, just a tad bit here, like that. There you go. And then let's kind of go in and kind of finish this one out. Okay, so what I'll do now, guys, is I'll kind of speed run the rest of this. I just wanted to show you like one at least finished pose and stuff that's kind of a little bit more cleaner than maybe some of the other ones we're going to do, because I think moving forward, I'm going to be just going over some of the general structures with you guys. So we're not going to be doing all the crazy details that we're doing right now, like not all the, you know, clothing and whatnot. Mostly just going to be going over some of the forms with you guys, and then from there we'll kind of hopefully knock out a few of the exercises, different poses and stuff that we got. I'm stuck watching Kaycem in the mornings and Cynics in the evenings with no drawing in between. How do I escape that? You can draw while you watch us. I think those are two good content creators to watch on Twitch, not gonna lie. I like watching Cynics' streams too, but I kind of hang out there and just kind of keep quiet. But yeah, you can draw along with us. I always tell you guys, like, you know, I always upload the resources for you guys to download out here. So, you know, feel free to use them, to download them, draw along with them. You know, they're there for you guys, right? So they're on my Discord channel, by the way. Can you explain the hand which is holding the Wii remote? Every time I try to draw something that is straight facing forward, I somehow make it facing downward. If I explained before. Yeah, is that a Wii remote? I guess it is. I think this is a very tricky hand pose in general. But I would say, I think when it comes to drawing hands and drawing things in crazy poses like these, just establishing overlap, I think, is probably the key thing that I always like to focus on here. So I think having overlap, for example, for the thumb over the wrist, having overlap there for the fingers as they wrap over each other, right? I think those are kind of the key things here that I'm looking at, that I'm trying to just simplify overall. But again, I'm not trying to make it super detailed, so I am kind of just hand waving some of the details here, so I apologize for that. But again, just kind of focus on subtle overlaps there, and I think that's mostly it for when it comes to drawing these type of hands. And sometimes hands are just going to look weird. Like, there are just some poses that look really funky because of how the hand is positioned. So like, that'll always be the case. Like, there are going to be just some unnatural poses. So sometimes as an artist, you kind of have to pick and choose how to represent how the hand looks like to make it maybe feel and look more readable overall. Like, that's a pretty common thing to have to deal with sometimes whenever whenever you're drawing a hand or something. So just kind of keep that in mind as well too. Like, sometimes it just looks funky, and yeah, you gotta live with that. I'm gonna imagine she's maybe like holding like a sword or something. Like, that could be just what she's holding right now. Yo, thanks for the Prime sub, Goodwill. 5 months out here on Twitch. Sheesh. Yo, what the heck? Make Twitchy, thanks for the 5 gifted subs as well too. Damn. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted, and congratulations to those of you who got 5 gifted subs. Thank you for the 800 bits too. Oh shoot, we got a raffle spin out here. Okay. Oh man. Okay. I heard Ergo Josh is one of your biggest art inspirations. I wouldn't say he's my biggest art inspiration, but more so he's like a really close friend of mine, that I would say. And he's definitely helped me get started in my content creation career. And so in many ways, I look up to him for that, for sure. But yeah, he's actually a really good friend of mine, Ergo Josh. He was one of the first content creators to kind of support me and stuff, and kind of help find my channel and help me grow to where I'm at today. So I do owe him a lot, for sure. But yeah, good old Ergo Josh. Let's see here. Yeah, thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for the follows too, Slimeball, and yeah. Let's see here. Also, guys, please do keep the streams English only, mostly because I don't understand other languages well enough. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of purge the message if you do type in other languages and stuff. But thank you for all the support, guys. It's a sword. Yeah, probably like a sword, like a handle kind of thing of the sword. So we'll just keep it like that. But yeah, thank you so much for the gifted out here. Insane. Sheesh. Yeah, appreciate that. And thank you for are we on a hype train too? Damn. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So what are we gonna do then? We do have a raffle spin, so we unlocked the raffle spin out here. So we'll definitely do that one later. And I think we're actually really close to getting another art sheet. If you guys didn't know, at the bottom there, it's kind of hard to see because I moved some things around, but every 10 subs on my stream actually unlocks a free cheat sheet, a free worksheet, or not a worksheet, a free cheat sheet for everybody watching today. So if you guys didn't know, subscribing to my stream not only benefits me and also I guess yourself, but it also helps everybody out here who is watching today to be able to get more access to free art resources. So thank you to all of you who've been gifting subs and supporting the stream so far. It's been tremendous. Kaycem, love your streams. My art on paper is pretty good, but my line art on digital right now is not good. What drills would you do to have crisp line quality? I would practice, not gonna lie, I would practice doing some, just drawing some boxes and drawing some lines on on your tablet. So just gonna go in here point to point and try to say like, okay, let me see if I can draw some lines here, some straight lines like this, point to point. And then maybe you go further away, right? Maybe you go in here, do from different angles as well. So you kind of rotate it up. So do stuff like that. I would say draw some boxes, you know, just kind of get familiar with the flow, not worrying too much about trying to, what's it called? Trying to get all the anatomy, or not anatomy, all your lines to kind of match up and stuff. But I think just getting comfortable with digital art. But sometimes it could be the brushes too. So just keep that in mind. It could also be the brushes you're using as well. Oh, shoot. Hey, thanks for the gifted sub, Dodger. Appreciate that. And also we just hit our 10 sub goal, which means, guys, I'm gonna give you guys another sheet here that you guys can download over on the Discord channel. I'm gonna give you guys the torso sheet here because I think that's the arm sheet. I'm gonna give you guys a torso sheet because I think this one's gonna be helpful for today. So let me go ahead and give this one over to you guys. Here's Ergo Josh. Actually, I was DMing him, but go over to the Discord channel, all right, and I'll post it right about now. So here you can find today's worksheet, by the way. Then you can find here the quick proportion exercise that we covered on day 21. And then here are 2 cheat sheets that I think will be really helpful for today, guys. We have here the head cheat sheet that I made, which covers the skeletal and muscular anatomy of the head, as well as some of the different angles. But also right here is going to be the torso anatomy, which is going to be covering the skeletal and muscular anatomy, as well as how to kind of push some of those general shapes into more realistic proportions, right? So again, these sheets are 4K resolution, they're free to grab, and are only available while I'm live. So if you are watching from YouTube, by the way, you can't get access to these unless I'm live, so please come out and join the live streams. But for those of you who are here right now, grab these sheets. They're free to grab until the end of my stream, guys. All that I ask is you come support my streams when I'm out here live, and maybe leave a follow or something. You know, that way Twitch knows that there's content out here on the platform that, you know, other people might find interesting as well. And thank you for the follows, actually. You boy JC, Shabaza, Slime Baldy, and everybody else coming in here. Should I increase or decrease your pressure curve? I think it depends on your preferences, but I'll show you what I have if that helps you out at all. Really quick, I'll show you. There you go. This is my pressure curve sensitivity that I use. I used to be a very heavy-handed artist, and so I tried to transition and make my art not as heavy-handed. And so this pressure curve sensitivity actually helps me avoid having to grip my pencil as hard and having to press down as hard to make nice dark lines. But also, if I did want to make dark lines, you know, it's not that hard to do. But also, if I want to make light lines, it's also not that hard to do as well too. So it's it works for me pretty well. But again, you know, each to their own. So find the sensitivity curve that you think works best for you, because I think for different people, you might have different pressure that you apply onto your drawings. But yeah, I did have a tendency back when I was still a traditional artist. Man, I was super heavy-handed. I'd be like stabbing my paper. Now I'm like a lot more gentle. I'm a lot more gentle with it, and so I think that has been a tremendous benefit too, because it allows me to draw longer as well. So for those of you who don't know, I work in the animation industry, so I basically stream and do art here for like 4 hours, and then after that I draw for another like 8 hours for work and stuff. So being able to draw for 12 hours every day, not every day, but on the weekdays and stuff, you got to make sure you're taking care of your wrist and your hand and your elbow and your neck and all of that stuff. So very important to find a nice comfortable position, and building good habits that avoid injury, I think is very key. Those who stab the paper know how shitty joint pain is by this point. Yeah. And it's almost like the harder you draw, the more you lean in. the more you lean into your drawing, right? You're really like hunching over there 90 degrees over your drawing. Your lips are kissing the page almost. You know what I'm talking about. Is the perspective technique you're about to show us can be done on digital or even on paper? Oh yeah, it can be on paper too, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Why is that torso block seem distorted to me? Is it just me? The torso block, which one? You mean this one? This one? So many torsos. So many torsos out here. Or are you talking about the one from the one that I showed earlier? Oh yeah, no problem, Buggy. Again, guys, again, I always tell you guys that feel free to just ask me questions. I really do enjoy answering questions and stuff and helping you guys out however I can. So if you guys just have any questions, you know, think of my streams as like free mentorship, if anything. Like if you're looking for an art mentor, but maybe you can't pay for it at this time or whatever have you, yeah, just, you know, feel free to ask away and I will do my best to answer, because you'd be surprised. Like you might not be the only one who's having that issue with what's it called? Having that issue with the whole like pressure curve and all of that stuff, right? So do feel free to ask, guys. Feel free to, you know, get comfortable out here. Oh, don't get too comfortable out here. Some of y'all start acting crazy all of a sudden. If you guys want to get crazy and get kind of wild out here, I would actually recommend checking out my second channel. I have an alt channel that I made like 2 weeks ago, and I've been streaming on it. I think I did my 5th stream, and we're gonna hit affiliate pretty soon. That channel is purely for games. It's purely for just me doing crazy, wacky stuff that would definitely, my sponsors would not like it if I did that on my main channel. And yeah, so if you guys want just random fun stuff, check out my game streams. That one is there. We streamed Valorant yesterday, by the way, for the first time. I played Valo for the first time, and yo, that game is tough. That game is so hard. I'm not even, okay, I think that was actually the first time I played a shooter game, which I know sounds crazy to some of you, but like I've played like shooter games before, but not ever like seriously or anything like that. But that was the first time I actually played one, and yeah, it's brutal. It's 100% brutal. But yeah, go check out that channel if you guys want more kind of like game fun content. Maybe in the future there might come a time where I decide to merge my channels and I start doing game streams on here. But right now my schedule is super busy. I don't really have any more than, like, I'm streaming at the max amount of hours that I can on Twitch, because the other remaining hours I have to do studio work for. So it's just like unfortunate because of that. If I had more time, I'd probably stream longer and maybe we'd do games. But for now, I do some games on my free kind of loose free gaming on my other channel. Thank you for the follows, by the way. Soft Oak, Chief Tan, Raj, and everybody else coming in here. Top left with the 1/2. Oh, you're saying if it's looks a little distorted? Yeah, so again, this is more of just like a general rough proportion thing. Just kind of a quick demo that I showed you guys. The torso right now is also rotated in a little bit of a 3/4 view. So yeah, but it's more of like a rough kind of general positioning there for sure. What is the best way to improve on digital drawing? I feel that it's very difficult for me to improve on it, and sorry for the bad English. Oh, dude, your English is great. Wait, what? That's good. I mean, your English is as good as my English, you know, which I do roast my own English, so maybe, I don't know, but I would say your English is fine. Anyways, what the answer, or the question was about how to improve your digital drawing skills. I think, honestly, the thing that I think about whenever I'm doing digital is, I personally just think that digital is not any different from traditional. And the sooner that you start moving away from that mindset that like, oh man, I'm drawing something that's on a different, you know, different program or whatever, it's a different tool. Really, I think digital is just another medium, kind of like how watercolor is a different medium from charcoal pencil, right? So I would say if you just start treating digital as you would traditionally by, you know, focusing on the brush, like focus on like one brush tool, use the eraser, and then don't worry about all the crazy bells and whistles of multiply layers and clipping masks. Like when you're first starting out, you know, don't worry about all that stuff. I think as you start developing your skills and getting more comfortable with using digital art and stuff, then yeah, you can go in and start learning some of those programs one at a time. Now, a quick tip that I did when I was first starting learning Photoshop and stuff was I actually hid a bunch of the tools that I didn't need or didn't think I need. And I started kind of adding them back in for whatever whenever I needed to do something, right? So it's like, oh, okay, cool. I want to learn how to use this tool. Let me add it back in. And so that could be something you could do. This is why I actually really like Procreate a lot, is because Procreate is super simple, man. They give you the bare bones of what you need, but if you want to learn other things, you can definitely explore the software a bit more and then find like, oh, okay, cool, this is actually what I want to, you know, use and stuff like that. So I personally think Procreate's a really great tool because it forces you to utilize just the basic primitive tools so far that you're given, and you don't have to worry about, you know, all the crazy details. I just gave her a quick little braid there. I don't know. I thought it looked nice on her. But okay. I think we've drawn out here the pose that we've got for this character. Not bad at all. Let's go in now and do the fun stuff. All right. So I think I took a lot longer than I wanted for this one, so I do apologize, but I'll try to speed it up here for the next pose for you guys, okay? So let's go in now, and I will merge this layer. We have this mannequin here that we turned into this pose here, nice and easy. I'm going to move away from this reference now, and we're actually going to move all of this over here. Bloop. And I'm going to maybe shrink it just a little bit, bloop, 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 like that. And then that way we'll go ahead and draw out now. We'll draw out the same pose now from a different perspective, okay? So this is going to be the tough part of today's exercise, which is going to be how to draw poses from imagination, how to be able to rotate your characters and all of that stuff, right? We're going to be talking a little bit about all of that right about now. But let me actually go in and let me do a quick color this one. Just to kind of make it pop for the Twitch thumbnail out here. OpenTunes? I wish I knew. Sorry, I don't know much about OpenTunes as a software. Maybe yeah. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not good. I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, honestly, even if we haven't gotten to the particular topic that we're going to be covering today, I do want to say I have been enjoying the stream so far. I think we've been having a lot of great conversations. You guys have been asking some super dope questions. So really living up to the Saturday stream vibes. I love Saturday streams. I don't know what it is about my Saturday viewers, but I feel like you guys are just so chill. We're so chill on a Saturday. Like Monday, like I like my weekday viewers, but I feel like the weekday streams can get a little serious, you know, we're like on that serious mode. I have a little bit less time to stream on the weekdays, and so I'm a little bit faster and it's just more serious. But the weekend, I feel like we're chilling, we're drawing, we're chatting. So I like all of that. Oh shoot, really quick, I do run ads on my stream every hour. Oops, my bad. Thanks for those of you who are sticking around for the ad break and all of that stuff. Appreciate you guys hanging out here. But yeah, welcome in. Let me I guess I'll wait for the ads to finish up. But yes, I do run ads really quick. Do you ever make female or do you ever made a male female comparing stream ever? Oh, you mean like the male anatomy versus like female anatomy, stuff like that? Yes, so we do that, and we will be doing more of that actually later in my boot camp, just not today. Yeah, guys, again, I do run ads on my stream. Thank you again for those of you who are sticking around. The program is very much capable, resulting absolutely top of the line work. Yeah, I agree. Procreate is great. Procreate's a pretty super dope program, and I have used Procreate both professionally and personally. Though for studio work, I mostly use Clip Studio Paint. Actually, I primarily only use Clip Studio, but I think that's also because Powerhouse just really loves Clip Studio. Man, they're deep in the sauce of Clip Studio Paint. All right, there you go. We've got this pose, and I'll wait a little bit for the ad break to come out, and then we'll be good to talk a bit more. Let's see here. Let's see here. Boop, 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 boop. Thank you, Buggy, and everybody else here. How do I tackle artist block? Okay, I'm just trying to look if there's any other questions I want to cover before we jump in. How to tackle artist block? That's a tough question. Is the bootcamp the stream, or is it an extension of the stream on another platform? So the bootcamp is my streams, though if you guys want the refined versions and stuff, my YouTube channel, I upload 2 videos a week on my YouTube channel, and those are free to watch out here. So for those of you who subscribe, you get access to my earlier VODs, the ones from like my more recent streams and stuff. But if you want to get the bootcamp and all the stuff from the previous days, those are going to be on my YouTube channel. And I believe I've already uploaded the first 8 days of the bootcamp. We're on day 24 right now, so you can imagine we're kind of powering through here. But yes, those are it's basically my stream. So I teach art out here on Twitch, and yeah, that's kind of mostly what I do on the platform. So if you guys again like what you see out here, make sure to follow my stream and all of that stuff. And I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy the content that I'm covering out here. Okay, cool. All right, so I was just waiting for you guys to come back from the ad break, but I'll do a quick little intro for myself. By the way, for those of you guys who are here for the first time, welcome in. My name is Kaycem. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective, to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now, I'm actually prepping to work as a character designer on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, you like anime or animation, or you just want to hang out with my dog who is sleeping over there, do leave a follow out here on my streams, and I hope you guys enjoy the content and enjoy hanging out here. Okay, but guys, we finally moved on. We're on here to the next part of our drawing, where I'm going to take this pose here and we're actually going to rotate it now. All right, we're going to rotate this pose and we're going to rotate it just a little bit. Okay, so we're not doing anything crazy. And what I want to do is I want to show you guys how to first maybe rotate a box in perspective before we even talk about rotating something in rotating the whole human body, right? But I would say imagine this box that we have. And if you just kind of rotate it a little bit, what's going to end up happening is you're actually going to be establishing a little bit here of some vanishing points, right? Now, I'm not going to be lining up the perspective all exactly, but just kind of give you guys an idea of what we're looking at, right? This is going to be that box here. And you can kind of imagine here now, we're going to take the same pose, but now we're going to rotate it just a little bit, just enough here that we're going to be seeing it now from a 3/4 view. And I think this will be an interesting, fun challenge because now it'll be reliant on us to be able to draw these things out from imagination. But again, we're going to be going over how to do all that. So don't worry for those of you who are like, yo, Kaycem, please. That sounds too hard for me. Don't worry. We'll do it together. And I think it'll be fun, to be honest with you guys. Okay, so here's our little diagram. I always like to kind of visualize it first as a small kind of, box. And then now let's kind of go in and let's start building out this pose right here. Easy peasy rotation, indeed. Thanks for the follows, guys. For those of you who did follow me today, I'd love to know how you guys came across my stream. How'd you guys find my channel? Was it through my YouTube? Was it through I don't know. Was it through my, let me think. Was it through the front page of Twitch? Was it through recommended? Was it through a friend of a friend? Let me know. Okay, so here we're just going to be laying out this box. Again, I'm not using any particular perspective or any grid. I'm going to be using more of a free form here. And again, this is again to show you guys that, you know, you don't have to line everything up exactly with perspective. Sometimes it's good to just be close enough, right? Just be a little approximation doesn't hurt anybody. So here's going to be our box now. We're going to take this box here and let's kind of just shape it. I want to make sure we have at least a relative same length here, so that way that looks pretty good. But let's go ahead now and start drawing the rough kind of general gesture and mannequin here for this same pose, right? Question: if I get your bootcamp collection on the Gumroad, how do I progress in it? Is there a specific place to start or in order to complete the pages? Yeah, so if you get the bootcamp resources, basically you're going to get all 3 of the courses that I taught last year. And they're actually going to be labeled day 1, day 2, day 3. And there's also going to be 3 levels. So there's the fundamental one, then there is the general design one, and then there's the 3rd one, which is more advanced for those of you who are looking to maybe work in the industry and stuff. So that is what my sheets and stuff cover. So it'll be accompanying worksheets and cheat sheets that you can kind of follow along together. Usually the days will be aligned. And so for those of you wondering what that is, I basically have here, you can actually buy on my Gumroad all of the stuff that I covered last year, all the worksheets and cheat sheets, which is over 140 plus, a whole year's worth of teaching out here on Twitch. And that's available on my Gumroad, as well as some brushes and all that stuff. Filipino artist. Yeah, that's me. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch. That's just not, yeah, that's true. Not a lot of us. Twitch recommendations. Damn. Okay. Twitch Rex coming in hot today. I see. Nice. Very cool. Thank you for all the follows, guys. But all right, let's go in here. Let's talk about this pose. Man, this is going to be a tough one. Okay. I lied to you guys. It's going to be kind of tough, but it'll be fun. I swear. So the first thing I want to do always, whenever it comes down to drawing things in perspective, guys, is I always want to make sure we establish the points of contact, okay? So what are the points of contact here? Basically, these are going to be the points on, the points here. Let me flip it like this so it's a little bit wider. The points here on the forms that we have here that are actually going to make contact with the characters that we have, right? Now, how many of you guys in the chat have ever been in this situation where you try to draw a character, right? And you try to put them in perspective, or you put them in a scene, and for some reason, it looks like the character just doesn't look right. They look like they're wonky. They're maybe like kind of floating or whatever have you. And you're kind of like, yo, what the heck? Put an F in the chat if you've ever done it. You look at it and you're like, dude, looks like my character's on a sticker or something. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it looks like you just slapped a sticker on your page, but it doesn't look right. Thank you for the subs, by the way. Dang, Bookie official, 13 months? You've been here for over a year? What? 13 months? Damn, thank you. Appreciate the 13 months out here. Actually insane. It's honestly crazy for me to think that there are people who've been watching me this long out here on my streams. I thought you would have graduated by now, Bookie. You're still in school. You're still in the Kaycem art school. 13 months. Insane. Insane. It's all good. Some people like to stay here for a while. As in, it looks flat. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's an issue with looking flat, but sometimes it's an issue with just having it look off, you know? You're taking the class again? Hey, that's what I like to hear. Coming back. Kimono Gami, thank you so much for the follows. I am that guy Brandon, and everyone else coming in here today. Hopefully you guys are doing well. A lot of follows. I'm just absorbing all of it. It's crazy. Oh, thank you, Nurse Leslie, for adding me to your suggested channels. That means a lot. You guys are making me feel all emotional today. Thank you, guys. School normally takes 4 years, so we got more time to go. That's fair. That's fair. There's some schools are here for 4 years. After 4 years, if you guys are here for 4 years, I will personally give you guys a little, I will give you a degree. A little paper that has no meaning or value. But here's the best thing though. If you guys didn't know, if you want to work in the industry, you don't even need a degree. So that degree is probably as valuable as any other degree out there that you could get from a school, because you don't even need the degree to get a job working in the industry. I don't have a art degree, and I work in the animation industry. I have a computer science degree, and it's always not annoying, but it's always weird for me because like whenever I apply for a job and they're like, oh, what school did you go to? And I'm like, okay, I went to this university and I have a bachelor's in computer science, which is completely unrelated to my resume, completely unrelated to my portfolio and my skill sets. But you know, that's what people ask, but people don't care, in all honesty. The Kaycem University, yes. The University of K. Okay, so anyway, sorry. In all seriousness, guys, let's talk a little bit about laying out these poses. So the first thing here I'm doing is I'm putting in the pelvis on this ground plane, right? And remember here that the pelvis is going to be rotated a little bit because she's kind of arching her torso a little bit as she's kind of sitting on this thing. But the next thing we're going to do now is let's kind of go in here and let's establish where we want to line up the knees. Now, remember that we're going to be using here the general guidelines that we established of the knees. So let's kind of go in and let's just say, all right, I kind of want the knees to be right about here, a little bit further up from the box, but like roughly about the same angle. Okay. So we're going to go in like that. And then I'm just going to fill in the blanks here. We're going to say, okay, let's take a cylinder. The cylinder is going to go this way. And this is us again, using a little bit of imagination, right? To be able to go in and kind of just comfortably lay out here a bit of the box. Now, I think for this one, the box might be a little bit big. So let me see if I can just shrink this one down just a tad bit. Yeah, because the thing is, like, the box is going to be free-formed in space, so we always have to consider that too. But I'm going to, again, show you guys how I'm using kind of these basic mannequin shapes. And you know what? Actually, for this demo, I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit because I feel like I want to make sure to hit the other two poses that we're going to have covered today. But again, I'm lining up here. I'm using the general shapes that we have, and I'm lining these things up. And then from these lineups, we're going to be able to go in and actually kind of restructure and rebuild our character without having to use any reference at all. We're not using a picture, anything like that. I mean, you can if you find something, but again, it's not necessary for this exercise, right? I think what's more important is being able to build up using our own visual library and our understanding of the fundamentals to be able to draw some of these things out here. We graduate from here. No, I'm joking. There's no actual school here. We're not a school. Okay. I'm not credited by any institution. Okay. So if you're still here after 4 years and you try to give your degree to a job, I guarantee you they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, what is this? What actually is this? Did I ever take any art classes? Also, hey, JC, welcome in. JC Animations, great name. Did I ever take any art courses? If yes, what college art courses did you take? So, fun fact, for those of you curious, I did go to art school. So I want to preface that I did go to art school. I went to a school called Art Center, Pasadena Art Center here in California, but I dropped out of it after my first semester way long ago because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it. My parents couldn't afford it. And honestly, I had a lot of imposter syndrome. I thought I wasn't good enough to be an artist. And so I decided to give up. I just said, you know what? Art is not for me because I can't pay for it. And, you know, what's the point of trying to be in debt if I'm not even good? Which was just very toxic mentality. But I'm sure you guys can relate because some of you are here right now watching my streams and you're artists, and maybe you have a little bit of a toxic relationship with your art. So I'm sure you guys know what that feeling is like. But I did go to art school. I dropped out and then I didn't do any art for a while. And then after about 6 years of not doing art at all, like I completely did no art at all. In 2020, because of COVID, I started drawing again, and I mostly just watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I bought some books. I tried to learn how to draw, all of that stuff. And then it wasn't until about a year afterwards, after I decided to quit my job and pursue art full time, that is when I actually started looking at some courses online. So I think Concept Design Academy is a great place to look at. There's also Brainstorm. There's so many, schools and stuff. CGMA, all of that. But I didn't do all of that until after about a year of self-studying and practicing. And then from there, I was looking for more of the specific stuff that was hard to find on YouTube channels, because I'm sure you guys have been on YouTube and you know that a lot of the videos on YouTube, they're mostly like 5-minute, 10-minute videos on like 3 mistakes that you want to avoid as an artist, or like these 3 easy hacks. You know what I'm talking about. Put an F in the chat if you've seen those videos on YouTube, right? They're usually short videos, 10-minute videos, 5-minute videos, and they're meant to be kind of like more for entertainment, but also still give you some fundamental value, right? They give you some understanding, which is helpful. But if you want to get into the industry, there's going to be certain particular topics which maybe is not going to be as popular on the channel or whatever. It's not as big because, you know, people also care about getting views on YouTube. And so for those kind of topics, that's the ones where I was kind of paying classes for, because I knew that I wasn't really going to find the long structural content for those things on YouTube, which is actually a big reason why I want to be on YouTube now, and why I'm uploading my content on YouTube. Because in the past, I used to think, what's the point of me uploading my tutorial videos on YouTube when there's already so many artists out there who do that? But I realized there's not a lot of content creators who actually upload long videos, like 2-hour video demos, and go over some of the detailed topics that I talk about here. And so for those of you who are actually interested in those kind of topics and are looking for a little bit something more meaty, I please highly recommend you check out my YouTube channel. I upload 2 videos a week over there, and I'm trying to make art education as free as possible. So for those of you who were just like me growing up and couldn't afford to go to art school, you don't have to. You don't got to go to art school. Find content creators like myself. There's other ones as well that I do know of that do upload these hefty tutorial stuff, which honestly, all of the stuff I cover is really stuff that I've learned as well from taking classes and all that stuff. So it's not actually that much different. I've actually had people tell me like, Kaycem, I've taken classes at schools and your stuff is better, which I think is debatable. I think everyone learns differently and stuff, but I will say that I think the stuff that I cover out here, I try to make it as good and as dense and as valuable as it would if you were to pay for some online class. That's one of my goals out here as an educator, not only as an artist and as a content creator. But yeah, there you go. That's my answer to that question. Did I go to art school? Yes, I did. Did I stay in art school? I did not. Would I have stayed if I was able to afford it? Possibly, yeah. And I always tell you guys, if you can afford going to art school, sure, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there are really good art schools that exist out there that will give you the structure, that'll give you the accountability that you need to progress as an artist. But it's not necessary. And if anything, I feel like it might put you in a more difficult situation if you can't comfortably financially cover those things, right? Yeah, because nothing makes you hate art more, I think, than having to know that you are in huge debt and that you have to draw not because you want to draw, but because you got to pay for that debt and pay for those bills and all of that stuff. Like, that's how a lot of people get burnt out and end up being frustrated with art, because it's like it sucks the fun out of drawing. Where can I download those cheat sheets? Yeah, so you can download today's cheat sheets on my Discord channel, guys, under the art category. If you type in either !resources or !bootcamp, you'll find that. You'll find that there. But all right, let's go in here now, and I'm going back here to the drawing that we have. So this is now at this stage where I'm going in and I'm actually kind of establishing here some of the forms that we talked about earlier. And keep in mind here that we do have, the horizon line, or the eye level line here that I established is going to be roughly at about, I'm going to say I'm roughly placing it at about where the belly button is. So kind of around that range. And so, we're utilizing a lot of the lineup here of the knees. For example, we're using the lineup there of the pelvis. We're using the lineup here, the 10th rib right here. And all of these lineups are actually going to help us place this character in perspective without actually having to have the reference for these things to begin with. Super, super easy technique that you can utilize. Understand the bony landmarks of the human body. This is actually one of the first things I learned when I was in When I was at Art Center and I was taking advanced figure drawing, the first day, literally, they gave us some worksheets and they were like, we want you to find the bony landmarks of the body. And I was like, huh? Aren't you supposed to tell us where these things are? But you know, art schools sometimes make it difficult. They want you to suffer a little bit, and then they tell you, actually, you're wrong. What you drew, what you thought was the landmarks, wrong. This is where they actually are. I remember that day. I remember that day of class, dude. I had so much imposter syndrome because like I didn't know the answer to the question, and everyone else was like, look at this. I know all of this. And I'm like, what? I didn't know any of this, huh? I feel like it's very valuable to see artists work real time. Speed paints and time-lapse are not helpful when you want to learn. Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in like those crazy, like, for example, I follow a lot of League of Legends artists on YouTube who, you know, upload their process videos, and they're like 1 hour videos for like 48 hours worth of work, and it's super cool to watch. It's super dope to see, but just because you watch a video, like a time-lapse video, doesn't mean you know how to do it yourself, right? It's a very different process to actually practice these things out and try to develop those skills. Like, how many of you guys in the chat have binge watched a bunch of tutorial videos on YouTube, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I know how to do all this, but then the moment you try to do it yourself, you're kind of like, huh, wait a minute. I thought I knew what I was doing. You're like, oh, wait a minute, huh? You know, put an F in the chat if you've ever been there. You're right. You're watching all these videos. You're like, oh yeah, I get it. How to draw hair, how to draw hands. So easy. If only being better as an artist was as easy as watching a video and being like, oh yeah, I'm done. That we would all be professional artists today, right? Everyone in the world would be a professional at something if developing skill was that easy, right? All the people who watch sports. imagine if it was that easy to be good at a sport just from watching it. Dude, everyone would be a god at playing basketball or football or whatever have you, right? But unfortunately, that's not how it works. Just because you watch something and understand how it works visually doesn't mean that you yourself can execute those things. Until you actually practice those skills and develop those fundamentals, you will not actually be able to execute on those things. So I always tell you guys, yes, watching is great, and I think it's awesome that a lot of those content creators upload their stuff, but keep in mind that until you pick up the pencil yourself and practice these concepts yourself, you actually haven't learned how to do it yet. But yeah, that's what I'll say about all that. I think they're great videos. I love watching those videos, but oftentimes I watch them just because I'm shocked. That's the main reason why I watch those videos. It's just to be baffled at how insanely good some of those artists are. And you're just like, damn, I want to get there. You know, I want to be where that's at. Thank you for all the follows today too. Rosie, Yaz Vega, Vale, Walk, everyone coming in here. Comes down to application, otherwise forever stuck in tutorial purgatory. Indeed. You got to put it into practice. Exactly, Leo. So you guys know. Christoph Young. Dude, I love Christoph Young. I wish he uploaded more videos, but I know Christoph is busy too. And he works in a very hyper-realistic style that I think is a little bit harder to teach in a much faster way than the way that I do, which is like animation. Like I teach, I come from the animation industry, and so the way that I teach oftentimes is the techniques that are utilized to simplify simplify the human body in a way that allows you to animate it a lot faster and easier and all that stuff. Now, really quick, I'm actually going to lay down here the same eye level, right? So this is going to be where we want the horizon line to be. And we're going to be utilizing here some of the landmarks that we've established here for our drawing to be able to draw some of these things out. Now, again, keep these things in mind as general guidelines. But for example, here, I'm actually going to rotate. I'm going to push this collarbone down to kind of go in perspective more. I'm going to bring this 10th rib cage down a little bit more as well to also match the how it converges into space there. And then here we're going to have, the pelvis, all of that stuff. That seems fine. And then right now I'm moving this arm. So you can't see it in the pose from front view. But I think one of the fun things to do in as you're drawing out these poses is now we can actually choose how we want to go ahead and pose this character. So now we're going to draw out this arm. This arm right here is going to go a little bit more now, forward in the shot. and then we're gonna have the wrist there kind of what's it called, you know, the wrist there hold up this whatever she's holding, like maybe she's riding a horse or something, I don't know. Okay, she's riding a horse. I didn't really, the first reference, I didn't really think about what she was doing, but I'm assuming she's riding a horse and she is saying giddy up partner. There you go. And then let me actually lower this one a little bit as well. So we're going to be lining this one up here. Whoop. There you go. Nice. Watching other people practice is your kink. Hey, whatever gets you excited about art, and I'm not going to knock anyone's kink, right? Like if you tell me, Kaycem, I really like watching, you know, people draw, because they are on a path that I want to get at. Okay, yeah, that's dope. No worries. You're like, Kaycem, I like watching hot tub streamers because it really gets me excited about drawing female characters. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You do you, fam. That's all you. Whatever gets you to do art. Okay, sure. I'm not gonna knock anyone's preferences out here. But okay, let's go ahead here and let's kind of move this one down. And I think we're going to be good here for actually putting in all the details, but I wanted to show you guys again, just kind of the general structure, right? So you can kind of see how this is starting to come about now. And again, we're doing this one from imagination. So we're kind of just laying out here all this mannequin structures and all that stuff. And I apologize if I am going a little bit slow. It's because I'm talking out here and reading chat. So normally we would probably be done with this one already, but you know, we're gonna take our time a little bit here. Okay, but there you go. So we have here our mannequin structure. Nice center line right here. We rotated the form, right? And I would say it's close enough to what we're trying to achieve here. But now let's go in and let's actually start laying out here now the actual details for this character. Or should we do that? Here's what I'll do. I will simplify it a little bit. Because I don't want to spend too much time on this one. I want to move on to the next couple of poses as well. So I'll kind of do a quick little speed run of this one, and then from there we'll if we have time, I'll go back in and start adding details to them. All right. Let's see here. So many follows. Augustine, Biento, Everetti, Lexus, Moloch. I don't know what's going on today. The follows are insane today. Like, actually, thank you guys. Never yuck someone's yum. Exactly. What does it mean to draw loose? I think drawing loose is, let's just say, okay, so there's a lot of potential connotations that I think of when someone says to draw loose. But let's just take the example here of perspective, right? What does it mean to draw loose when it comes to perspective? In this case, in this example here that I'm covering with you guys, to me, drawing loose is less about making sure every single line is lined up on the perspective grid and all that, but instead being a little bit more flexible with some of the mistakes that you're making, some of the lines, and instead focusing on what looks good and what looks kind of flowy, as opposed to being like, oh man, this line has to go exactly here and this and that, right? That to me is what I think about when I think drawing loose, like being not as fixated on making something look super perfect, but instead focusing on some of the energy and the overall feel of how something looks and having that be the priority. Because let's be real, sometimes references are not as good and not as interesting as what we as artists can turn them out to be. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to simplify the mannequin for her. I'm not going to go ahead and draw all the details, but I'll just kind of do a quick one for you guys to show you here what it looks like, right? And again, a lot of this comes down to just breaking down these forms and understanding where we can use general landmarks. Yo, Clap, thank you for the resub, the primer out here. Sheesh, how's it been? So many people coming in today. I'm actually shocked. Like, are there a lot of you guys right now? Hey, man. Just I've been trying to learn how to draw people, and I think I found exactly the resources I need here. Thank you, Malak. Appreciate that. Katsu as well. Thank you for the follow. What is Jason? Jason is this guy who comes out on the streams sometimes. thinks he's tough, got a deep voice, and he's like, "Hey guys, it's me, Jason," or whatever. Yeah, that's Jason. Thank you for the Prime sub too, Moobs. Appreciate that. Sheesh. Are we celebrating the 1 year anniversary too? You want to? Yeah, sure. You'll be 1 year, your first year of the Kaycem University. You've completed your freshman year. How does it feel? I don't know. That's a good question. But all right, let's go ahead here. I'm going to turn this mannequin that we have, or this kind of boxy shape here, and you can kind of see how I'm kind of shaping it up to be a little bit more organic, you know, because I don't know. I personally think the box is great for perspective, but if you really want to get some nice shapes and stuff, you want to definitely learn how to make some of these things look and feel just a tad bit more organic than maybe the boxy structure, right? But there you go. We got all that there. Oops. Let's go ahead and draw the neck. And yeah. Don't forget here, if you're drawing the head of this view, we kind of did on the other one too, but make sure to always add there the bottom portion there of the bottom portion there of the jaw. You never forget that area there. Even in even kind of in the more simplified animation and stuff, you'll still see some of that very subtle stuff. Tough guy, yeah, right, yeah, actually a tough guy, yeah. I was confused if perspective was involved or if it was all acting and posing. Oh, for today's stream? Yeah, so today is actually primarily focused on drawing characters in perspective from imagination. So again, I wanted to show you guys how I approach using kind of general landmarks and all of that stuff to be able to start visualizing these characters and drawing them in whatever, whatever pose you want, whatever angle you want, without having to actually be super reliant on having to find that one particular reference. Like, how many of you guys in the chat have ever done this before, right? You're like, oh man, I want to draw today. So you go on Pinterest or Instagram or whatever, and you're scrolling hours or hours and hours and hours for that one particular reference. And then you realize you spend more time trying to look for that reference and you haven't even drawn anything. Yeah, 4 hours later and no art's been made. Right? So I'm showing you guys here, like, yeah, sometimes if you want to, let's say you want to draw a character sitting and you're like, oh man, but I don't have that right shot of a character looking up and doing this, crazy dynamic pose. You don't need it, right? All you need is a good understanding of the forms, a general baseline that you can use, like what we're using here. And then from that general baseline, we're going in and we're building our own understanding of the human body. We're leveraging some design principles and all of that stuff. And together, all of these things, I think, will be much better off in allowing you to be more flexible with your illustration as well. Also, I think we can actually, am I lazy? Should I just grab this torso and slap it on here? I think we can actually just use that torso, but it's okay. I'm gonna draw it out again. Yeah, 4 hours later. Why must you call me out like this? Because I know that no one else will. I get it, guys. I know that you guys have all done that because I do that. I used to do that a lot. I still do it sometimes, but I try not to do it as much as I used to because I've come to realize that, it's actually better to just figure out how to work something out than it is to try to spend time scrolling for that one reference. The amount of freehand photos, sheesh. But yeah, thanks again for everyone coming in here today. We've got a lot of energy today, man. You guys are insane. What's up with the Saturday streams? Hello? What the heck? Thank you for the Prime sub, Moloch. Appreciate it. I'd love to know, for those of you guys who are coming in here, how did you guys come across my stream today? Was it through front page? Was it through recommended? Was it through my YouTube channel? Was it through just crazy browsing on Twitch and you just randomly stumbled upon my stream? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on today, but there's a lot of you here, and I can tell just from the energy today that there's a good amount of you guys here today. The vibes are strong. Which actually reminds me, if you guys are interested in some art education, or not art education, you guys are interested in game streams, I have a Smurf account. I have a Smurf account here on Twitch. I just started that Twitch account recently, and it's purely for playing games, purely for having fun with you guys. So if you guys are interested in catching me do some of that stuff, you know, not art related at all, though tangentially we do talk about art design and stuff like that, but it's purely focused just for me to have fun. Highly recommend that one. Recommend. I've been looking around and following artists looking for good resources. Nice, super dope. Thank you for quenching my thirst too, McTwitchy. Let's see. Alrighty, well, let's kind of speed run on this one. Oh, wait. Wasn't I not gonna draw? Oh shoot, hold on. Okay, I'll draw this because of boobas, and she does have boobas, but I'm not gonna draw the rest of the details because, again, I want her just to draw out the general mannequin here. Wait a minute. Okay, I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it super simple. Oh, I was on the front page. You found me when I was on the front page. I see. Nice. Thanks for coming back and hanging out here. But you'll actually see that majority of what we've already drawn is actually pretty much usable. If there's anything here that's going to change, it's probably the torso. So I'm making the torso look and feel just a little bit more organic, you know, not too boxy, and instead utilizing some of those basic shapes that we've got here, you know, the pelvis and all of that stuff. So again, just showing you that you can, you know, be flexible with these things and then utilize some of the structures that we already have to be able to draw from different poses from imagination, right? So we got here this one, and we'll do it a few more times. We'll do it 2 more times, but each time we do it, it'll be at increasing intervals of difficulty. So we're gonna keep ramping it up and doing more and more, but I think we'll be good. Oh, thank you, Cafe Danny. Yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts. I'm not even the biggest Cowboy Bebop fan, but I do like this shirt a lot. And not to say I don't like Cowboy Bebop. I actually really do like Cowboy Bebop, but it's not like my top 5. I put it in my top. I'll put it in top 10. I put Cowboy Bebop top 10, but it's not my top 5. And hey, Star, welcome in. Recommended channel. Nice, right on. Right, so let me add some quick foreshortening, and then I think we'll be good. Do you also have a video on how you use Procreate? I don't yet, and surprisingly, you're not the first person to ask me this, and I've been thinking about it because apparently people are asking for it. I thought, like, oh, you know what, people don't, no one's interested in how I use Procreate, right? Surely no one cares, but apparently a lot of you guys do care, and we've gotten a lot of requests to do like a Procreate tutorial kind of thing. I'll think about it. I'll think about how I'd want to even approach something like that, but I'm not opposed to doing a little something. You said Boruto's my #1 anime? How could you? How could you lie to the viewers? Boruto is not even on the list. It's that good. Boruto's not even in the question of top 10 best animes of all time. It's always name your top 5 best anime aside from Boruto. I'm kidding. I don't actually like Boruto. Sorry. I mean, I've seen it. I don't think it's bad. It's just not. I don't know. Not my. Not what's appealing to me at this time. I just thought I could ask. Oh no, yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it's just I'm just always surprised when I get asked this question because I realize that there's actually a good number of people who genuinely are interested in some Procreate tutorials and stuff. I'll think about how I want to do it, how I want to approach it, but I have been thinking about it. So just know it's on my radar for things to do. Do I think let me see. Do I think paper like screen protectors make a big difference for drawing on the iPad? I think that having a good matte-like screen protector is good. I will say I personally don't recommend Paperlike, and I'm sorry. I'm sure Paperlike I was like, oh, we should sponsor this guy Kaycem, but then it's like, wait a minute, he always talks about Paperlike. I will say I personally had a bad experience with Paperlike both times that I've tried to use it. I think it burns through my nibs too quickly. I don't think I like the texture as much as other Paperlikes I've found. Matte-like screen protectors that I found. But also, I think there's just way better, cheaper options. Like you can find stuff that is really good that is like at a third of the price. And I actually have some of those listed down below, but you don't have to use the ones that I have. I think in general, Amazon sells some pretty good ones, which I personally use over Paperlike any day of the week. I'll gladly use that over Paperlike, because yeah, Paperlike is a nib burner. Dang, it's a nib burner. It's crazy, and I don't even have to what's it called? I don't even draw heavily, you know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually insane. Replace the Apple Pencil. Yeah, so there's a little the little tip nib thing here. You can actually replace that and swap it out for something else. Once a month, once more after more than a year. Yeah, like preferably. So here's the thing. Now that I don't use Paperlike, I don't have to replace my nibs as often. But when I was using Paperlike, dude, it was crazy. I had to replace my nibs like once every like 3 months. But also you got to consider that I do draw for like 12 hours a day. So I definitely do use my tablet probably longer than the average artist, you know. 12 hours a day is a lot of time. But even then, I feel like that's still a lot of time to, that's a pretty short time period to be replacing nibs. Do they actually physically wear down? Oh yeah. Let me see if I can show you guys a worn down nib really quick. These are all old. This one's kind of worn down a little bit. I'm doing much better. You can kind of see how the tip is not even. There's like a little bit of a slant right there on the left side. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's such a... You see that? How the tip is a little bit slanted there on the left side. So eventually, as you keep using it, it starts to wear down. And then it gets to like the metal portion of it, which is not good to be drawing on because that metal portion starts to scratch up your iPad. Yeah. Yeah, you can't get around physics. Yeah, there's always going to be some friction for sure. That's true. Nice. That's a pretty good deal, Pico. I don't even draw crazily. Literally draws tutorial streams and works for a professional studio. No, I mean what I mean is like when I say I don't draw crazily, I mean like I'm not like super heavy-handed, that kind of stuff, you know. That's what I mean when I say that. Have I tried nib covers? I've not. I've never heard of that, but maybe I'll try that. But honestly, I'm okay. Like I actually really enjoy I enjoy what I have right now for the setup. I don't burn through my nibs as much. I like the screen protector I'm using, so it's pretty good. I'm just gonna go here and kind of slap on the hands. Again, this is not a hand stream, so I do apologize if we're not going over that, but I'm just really briefly here just applying some just super loose gesture here for the hands, okay? But I'm imagining like, I don't know, maybe she's got like a sword here, like a katana. So maybe I'll turn it like this. Kind of like that, you know, like maybe she's got like a katana blade there, boom, 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 diamond shape, all of that. And then there's like the handle there like this. And then I don't know. Okay. This is a very rough sketch, but you guys kind of get the point. Cool. They give you more tooth, huh? Yeah, I'll have to look. I've never heard of that. But who knows? Maybe that'll be another game changer out here, you know? All right, are we good on time? It's 10:19. I got about an hour and a half left of stream. I feel like we can knock out 2 more poses. I feel like we can. So I'll wrap up on this so that way we can move on. But then we'll be good to go. All right. Thank you again, guys, for your patience out here. And I hope you guys have been enjoying the streams so far out here on Twitch. And if you're watching from YouTube, I hope you've been enjoying the YouTube videos as well. All right. But cool. There you go. We've got here one locked in pose, and let me shift a few things. So this is going to be the sword detail that we've got, the general kind of mannequin structure that we've established. Let me go ahead and liquefy a few things to kind of exaggerate that perspective just a tad bit more there. But otherwise, again, this is going to be kind of how you can start thinking about drawing these kind of forms out in perspective, starting off with some really, really simple shapes, right? Basic cylinders and boxes and stuff like that. And then getting comfortable enough to do that. And once you do feel comfortable enough to do that, then you can kind of go in and be like, all right, let me add some of the anatomy. Let me add some more of that gesture that makes it look and feel more human-like than maybe the mannequins, you know, won't be able to execute on. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Gren, for the follow as well. But yeah, you guys don't need me to go do this mannequin here, right? Like, this should be pretty good, I feel like, for the mannequin drawing. I'm not going to draw the head. Let me maybe draw some like shapes, like I'd do that. There you go. All right. What is the recommended setup for tablet, iPad, pieces, software? Okay, so if you guys want my honest opinion, and if for those of you who want like the optimal setup here for your iPad, right? Here's what I would recommend. Obviously, you get your iPad, you get your pencil. That's like the bare bones that you need. But the next thing I would say is for the stand that I'm using here, I'm using the stand called the Sketchboard Pro. Highly recommended. Is probably one of the main reasons why I don't have any wrist pain, any neck pain, despite drawing for about 12 hours a day. And the biggest reason why is because this stand allows you to tilt it at a particular angle. And I'm also able to rest my hand here on the edge of this thing, kind of like how you would if you had a Cintiq Pro or some larger tablet. And it allows me to easily draw here on the edge of, look at this, look how easy this is. Woo! Easy to draw on that. And again, it's just super great for my neck and for my arms and everything. Highly recommended. Again, I'm not actually sponsored by them, but if you do use my Sketchboard Pro link right there, you'll actually get a 10% off discount. And I actually think this is super dope, super great. And then in terms of software, I would say Procreate is probably the go-to #1 software to use on the iPad. It's a one-time payment for a software, $5, I believe. Maybe it's $10 now, but it's a one-time payment and you get all the cool bells and whistles off of that. Whereas some other programs like CSP, for example, you do have to pay monthly subscription to use CSP on the iPad. So that's what I would recommend as like the bare minimum setup if you want an optimal professional work setup that will take you pretty much all the way through. Like everything else, I don't really care. Like I have a drawing glove and whatever, but you don't need a drawing glove. You know, I would say really the Sketchboard Pro and Procreate is like huge moves. Again, if you want to take a look at it, it's here, but again, you don't have to. There's a link for it there. And oh, I also have my keyboard on it too. So if you guys can't tell, I actually hold my keyboard up on it as well. So it allows me to type easily up here, draw, do that stuff. 10 out of 10, man. Yeah, CSP is super weird. I mean, I've used it and I've paid for it on the iPad, and it's pretty good. It's basically CSP, but on the iPad. But the only problem is you gotta pay what's it called? Once a month for it. And it's like, at that point, just use Procreate. Procreate's pretty solid. There are some things that Procreate can't do, so I will preface that. So for those of you who work in the animation industry and you have to work on aliased line art, for example, Procreate does unfortunately not handle aliasing well with a lot of their tools, but I actually made a brush set, which I'll be hopefully releasing soon for you guys. This is called the Powerhouse Line Art Pen. This is what we would use at Powerhouse to line art illustrations and stuff. And this one is aliased, but again, the aliasing of these lines are going to get completely destroyed if you try to do a transformation, if you try to do a liquefy. All of those things will basically destroy the aliasing because that's just how Procreate works. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful though. Interesting stuff to hear about. But let's go back on here and move on to the next pose. What happened to my brush? There you go. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, shall we move on to another pose? How are you guys feeling? You guys feel okay? Was this too difficult? Was this all right? Let me know in the chat if this has been okay to follow along with. I'm trying to make it as easy today as to follow along with, but I apologize if it's like, this is just a hard topic in general. It's one that I think just requires a bit of practice over time, but I feel like once you do get, you know, more comfortable with it, it does get easier to be able to visualize. Hold on, I want to shrink both at the same time. I'm just gonna move like these down here so we have a little bit more space, and I'm gonna just try to work on adding in a few more poses for you guys here. Okay. But yeah, let me go ahead and kind of color this one out in orange as well, so we have some nice kind of visuals to look at. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me questions out here. I know there were some questions earlier I definitely missed, so feel free to ask those again if I missed them. But yeah, I'm here to not only just draw and stuff, but I'm also here to help you guys out and answer any questions that you guys might have, whether if it's about the topic that we're covering today, art in general, things you might be struggling with, questions about what I do for work and all that stuff. Feel free to ask. This is probably a good time too, because I'm going to be setting up for the next perspective shot here. Boop, 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 boop. Thanks for the follow, Mo. How do you mentally handle drawing so much without burnout? Oh yeah, that was the question. See, I know there was a question that I saw that was like really good and I just forgot what it was. Yeah, that's a really good question. How do you handle drawing so much without burnout? That is something that I still am working on, to be honest. I think I draw a lot, and I think one of the things that allows me to hopefully not burn out as often, because here's the thing, I think there's a burnout. Sometimes people confuse burnout with having lack of motivation to draw. I think when I think burnout, or when I think like fatigue, so maybe it's not burnout, but I think fatigue, it's like, for me, it's when you have done so much of something and then you're just so tired and you can't do any more. Whereas the other case is more like you want to be able to do something, but you haven't done it, but you don't have the motivation to do it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think those to me are two different types of burnout. But I think in particular, the one that we're talking about right now, which is the burnout due to just overworking and stuff, that is one that I can probably talk a bit about for sure. What is this dot? Why can't I erase it? What the heck? Hello? Get out of here. Oh, there it is. Found it. But yeah, let's talk about that. Also, bots, hey, welcome back in. Also, thank you for the D-Shrimp pear lamp. We needed that. We needed that D-Shrimp. But actually, out of curiosity, how many of you guys are in the camp of burnout where you feel like you don't have much motivation and you're kind of like, man, Kaycem, I want to draw today, but every time I try to draw, it's just like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling it, you know? Put an F in the chat if you're like that. Thank you for the other D-Shrimp as well. You're kind of like, nothing I draw looks good. Nothing, art doesn't excite me as much anymore, whatever have you, right? Let me move this. Move this right here. Yeet. Yeet. And then we're gonna move this other box right here. Nice. Okay, this will give us a little bit more room now to raise up this drawing just a little bit so we have more space. I want it to be bigger, better, badder, stronger, whatever Daft Punk says. All right, let's go tackle another pose here. All right, what do I use the multiply layer for coloring? It's easy to slap on colors and stuff. You can use any other one. I personally just like it because it goes over the colors and stuff. Okay, cool. Oh, you were burnout after art school? Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about burnout while I figure out what type of pose we want to do. I think let's do this same pose here, but now let's do a low angle shot, kind of like what we've done in the past. So for this case right here, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go take that same box now, right? But now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate that box vertically, or not rotate vertically, but we're gonna lower the horizon line now, and we're gonna draw this character as if the horizon line was kind of like this. Ooh, that's a tough one. So eye level is gonna be here. We'll throw some vanishing points on there. BP. Okay, so this is gonna be our next box pose. Okay, we're gonna rotate it, lower the eye level a little bit more, so as if we were kind of looking up at this character. And I think this will be a fun. This will be a fun one, a hard one for sure. We can do it. I think we can do it. I'm not too scared. Maybe just a little. Also, let me move this knee up. There you go. Much better. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's see here. What dimension do you usually use for a canvas? 4K resolution is what I mostly use. I have this thing going on myself. I force myself to draw on a social schedule time. Okay. Yeah, and that's a pretty good strategy. I think for burnout, it's good to do other stuff like playing games, watching movies. Yeah. What is the easiest way to remember the shoulder joints? The easiest way would be to learn how the shoulder joints work. So the shoulder joints are comprised of a couple things. It's comprised of the humerus bone. It's comprised of the muscles there on the backside of the scapula. It's also comprised of the acromion process. It's also comprised of the deltoid muscle. And so I think, honestly, this is a cop-out answer, but I think the best way to learn and remember the shoulder joint is just to learn all the components that help build up the shoulder joints. Now, really quick, guys, I do run ads on my stream every hour. One's gonna be running right about now, so if you do get an ad, thank you again for coming out here and hanging out on my stream. These ads do help keep my streams monetarily viable, allow me to do what I'm doing on the platform. But yeah, if you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub. Let's see here. Okay, so I guess going back to the question, by the way, about like how do I deal with not getting burnt out from drawing so much, I think the best thing that has really worked for me is really alternating and trying to do stuff that I care about. So trying to, have some personal projects on the side that I can work on. stuff that's creative that I think is exciting for me. But also, I think taking breaks is also very valuable. Someone earlier said it, like watching movies and playing games, but after my 12 hours of working, like after I draw and do studio work, I literally do nothing else. I'll play League of Legends, I'll watch some shows, and I will mostly keep playing League until I get into a win streak. You know what I'm talking about. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning, you've lost 7 games in a row, and you're like, I'm gonna stop after the next game. Yeah, that's what I do to take some breaks and stuff. But I think it's always good to, in general, I think it's actually really valuable to just have, you know, a healthy kind of break from drawing and do other things, but also try to do stuff that you find is fun. Like, I know that studying and improving your technical skills is great, but it can be super dull, right? I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, where you're kind of like, man, Kaycem, I feel like studying is so boring sometimes. I feel like I have to learn and do all of these things. Well, I tell you guys, like, you know, first of all, you know, you don't have to study all the time, but also too, you can also make studying fun. I know this sounds crazy, but like, the way that I always did my studies when I was first starting out and learning things was I would approach the things that I had to learn as things that I only cared about. So like, if I didn't care about something, I'm not going to spend the time to try to learn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense to me to try to learn those things if I don't actually care. And so I only will study anatomy because I care to actually make some cool anatomical drawings, right? I'm going to study perspective because I want to learn how to get better dynamic poses. So I think from those things, from being able to say like, okay, cool, this is what I want to learn and stuff, then start going in and start, you know, like coming up with your own drawings, coming up with your own sketches that incorporate the things that you're learning. I think that's one of the best ways, and honestly, one of the fastest ways to really improve your skills overall as an artist. Being able to kind of just go in and try to develop these skills as well as learning them, right? You're kind of like incorporating it to your style and all of those things. So right now, for those of you who are tuning in, again, we're drawing these poses here from different perspectives, and I'm showing you guys how to kind of do that from imagination. Taking some of the landmarks that we've established, like the knees lining up, the aces, all of that stuff there, and actually utilizing some of that to be able to go in and visually create some of the anatomy that we're seeing here for our pose. Now, again, you don't have to do this the way that I'm doing it, but overall, I do think having some general approach or structure can become really helpful when it comes to tackling something like this, right? Yo, thanks for coming in. Thanks for the 9 month sub, 00 kid. Appreciate it. School studying and art studying can definitely make me burn out, but I tell myself that I really do want to improve, right? And I think that's kind of the other thing too, is like, no, my liquefy. That's the other thing too, is like, art studying doesn't have to be like studying for a subject in school, because, you know, I'm pretty sure we've all been there where we've taken a class at school that we just didn't really vibe with, right? For me, it was biology. I really struggled with learning biology because I just didn't care. To me, it was so boring. Like, yeah, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Like, yeah, that's so funny. I don't know why people memed it, but you know, aside from all of that, I really didn't care about biology. And so it was super hard for me to want to learn how to do biology. But here's the thing, right? I'm assuming a lot of you guys enjoy doing art. And so, you know, don't try to think of art as like something like, oh man, it's a chore. Like I have to learn anatomy. That sucks. Like, you don't have to, right? You learn the things that you want to learn at the time that you want to learn it, right? And I'm telling you now, it'll be way easier and beneficial for you overall as an artist to just focus on those things. And I think you'll have better longevity. But sometimes people are like, oh yeah, you know, someone told me I have to learn anatomy, so here I am studying all these muscle diagrams on the internet. Like, how many of you guys have done that? Put an F in the chat if you've ever just like, you're looking at muscle, you're like, let me look up anatomy of the arm, and you're just staring at diagrams of arms, and you're kind of like, I don't really get what's going on, but apparently I'm supposed to do it, right? Put an F in the chat. You're like, yeah, someone said I should learn the anatomy. But you're kind of just staring at these diagrams and you're trying to like copy them, what's going on, right? I feel like if you do that, you're not really going to retain anything. And I'm sure you guys know. I'm sure you guys have been there where you tried to learn these things and then like you forget about them because you don't care. You don't care about remembering them. So I do think that in general, studying can be exhausting, and there are definitely times where it will be exhausting. But as long as you focus on the things that you care about and all that stuff, I think that I think will lead to a good recipe for success. Thank you for the follows, Anani Mouse, Blared Gamer, and thank you again for the resub. I appreciate all the follows today. A tremendous amount of follows today. I have no clue what's going on, but I'm not complaining. Which actually reminds me, for those of you who are new here, let me give a proper intro of myself. I try to do these like every hour after my ad break and stuff. So let me just tell you guys really quick who I am for those of you who are here. If you're new to the stream, welcome in. My name is Kaycem. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch. I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania, the Netflix series, not the game. That would be sick though if I worked on the the old game, like the classics. Sheesh. But I'm also currently prepping to work as a character designer on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, or you're just looking to hang out right here on a stream on a weekend with my dog and stuff, do leave a follow out here on Twitch. It greatly helps my channel. And if you're watching from YouTube, make sure to, like and subscribe, all of that bells and whistles stuff. Like and subscribe to video and bell. I don't know. I'm still new to YouTube, so click the bell icon. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. Click that bell icon and yeah, do that. But obviously, most of you watching live right now are from my Twitch stream, so. But yeah, let's go in here and you can kind of see here, I'm trying to get rid of the box for you guys just to kind of show you how the forums work behind, because I don't want to, I mean, I could do it without showing it, but like I wanted to show you guys. So for those of you who are trying to maybe practice along and you're like, hey, Sam, I'm having a hard time figuring out here how to lay out this like back foot and the knee and all that stuff, right? So here I'm actually, again, utilizing a rough general perspective. So here is going to be like kind of where that foot's going to land. But you want to remember here that the foot is going to be kind of back here as well. So you're not really going to be seeing it exactly there, but it's good to kind of visualize some of these 3D forms, even if you're drawing through the forms here of the structure. So there you go. We kind of have that like structure there, and then maybe this knee is going to curve out this way like so. So I'm going to get rid of the box just to kind of show you guys again some of the anatomy and stuff, but you don't have to do it this way. You can definitely approach it in a way that makes the most sense to you. Okay. And here you can probably see the bottom plane there of the pelvis and stuff too. Wow, thanks for the follows. Command Strips, Onege 214, Kira, and everyone else coming in here. What do you do when you care about a lot of stuff to learn? When you're hungry to learn, I would say you try to pace yourself. Pace yourself because art is a long journey, but I think it's great. I think if you're hungry to learn and stuff, that's a great place to be, right? You should be happy, be stoked that there's so much to learn, but pace yourself and say like, okay, well, I want to learn XYZ topic. Let me give myself a week. Let me give myself 2 weeks to learn, to learn how to do anatomy or something, and then move on to the next topic, and then keep doing that. Keep cycling through. If there's a particular topic that you really are stoked about, stay on it a little bit longer. But I generally tell people to, don't be too stuck on one topic. Definitely be flexible and try to learn, learn as much as you can, especially in the early stages while you still have that drive to do so. Here we go. We're getting into the fun poses. Oh boy, these are the hard ones. So this is, again, we started off with this pose, right? Simple pose with simple lineups. And then from there, we said from imagination, let's kind of rotate that same pose now. But we're going to rotate the box a little bit horizontally. And then now we're taking that same pose again, but this time we're going to be rotating it vertically this time. And so we're going to be seeing kind of this dramatic, very, very dramatic shot here. But I think this is fun. This is a good one. You're preparing to work on the show Legend of Korra. Didn't that show come out? Yeah, so good question. So I'm preparing to work on shows like Legend of Korra and stuff. So that one's already completed. But there are productions that are similar to that show. And those are the ones that I'm currently prepping for. Yeah. Do we know something? I do know things. Yes, I do know things that you guys don't. Probably mostly because I have NDAs and stuff. But I'm not going to speak on any of that, obviously. But yes, there are things in the industry that I know about, productions and shows that are being worked on that keep it quiet. But yeah, though, my dog, yeah, that's my dog. His name is Arrow, and here is a puppy power redemption. Yeah, he's a Nikita. Being hungry for art is like for food, everything in moderation and spread it out between hours of the day. Yeah, that's true. I like that. That's actually a very good analogy. Can you learn anatomy in 2 weeks? Possibly. Also, Cream of Egbert, hey, welcome back in. I was actually watching your stream, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. But glad to have you on here. How's it been? But yeah, no, I think the thing about anatomy and fundamentals in general is, here's the thing. You will always be learning the fundamentals, right? Even if you've learned anatomy once, you're probably going to have to learn it 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 more times. So I would say, you know, learn a little bit here and there, do something else, and then maybe come back to it, you know, later on. I've probably covered anatomy. Let me think. I probably learned anatomy maybe I'm on my like 5th iteration of it. And if you guys have ever seen Proco, even Proco has stated that it took him about 4 times to learn anatomy to really get an understanding of it. And it took him another 2 more times to actually get comfortable enough to teach anatomy, right? So I think there's no such thing as like, oh yeah, you're going to master drawing anatomy in 2 weeks and then you'll never have to look at it again, right? That's okay. Like, that's unrealistic. Like, you're going to come back to it and you'll have fun. And then, you know, each time you go back and you learn something new, right? And so that's usually what I tell people is like, don't feel fixated on like, oh man, I have to master anatomy by the end of this 2 weeks. Otherwise I'm a trash artist. Like, no. Learn what you want to learn, get comfortable. If you want to learn more. But if you feel like you're tired and you've learned a good amount, that's okay. Come back to it another time and pick up a different topic. Embrace the fact that you don't know everything, and that's okay. Yeah. And also embrace the fact that not everything you're going to make is going to look good, right? Like, let's be real here. I think some of us have probably been in those situations where we were frustrated ourselves because we drew something and we're like, man, this looks completely trash. I'm never going to be a good artist. I'm done. I quit, right? Like, how many of you guys have ever been in that situation before where you're kind of like, you drew something so bad and you're just starting to wonder for yourself. You're like, am I actually good at art? Why am I trying to be an artist? Huh? You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, it happens. And that's part of the process for sure. The fun of learning other art styles to do animation like Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, I don't know. I think learning is fun. That might sound crazy to some of you, but I genuinely do think learning is a very fun thing. It can be a really fun thing. And it's all about how you frame it. It's all about how you frame it. It's all about doing it in a kind of in a sustainable schedule, one that doesn't make you go insane. Yeah. Okay, this is not bad. I'm vibing with this. Let's throw that box back in though. And I want to make this a little bit taller. I think this back leg could maybe go, that's fine. We're gonna cover it, but I do think this back leg could probably have been fixed up a little bit more there. Okay, there you go. Thanks for the follows, Roy, Raoul, Gem, Blackthorn, Whale S, and everybody else coming in here. Sheesh. It's what happened 5 minutes ago with you. Oh, for sure. Every day. What's your opinion on using stroke stabilization, smoothing, especially when learning? In general, I think it's a tool that you can utilize to, you know, if you want to make better lines, and that's completely fine. I use it sometimes too when I'm working on particular scenes that need to be very precise and smooth. Like, for example, let's say I'm drawing a weapon on a character. I'm not going to name any characters, obviously, and I'm not going to name the weapon, but let's just say I worked on some scenes and there's a character and they're holding a weapon, right? And you want to make sure that weapon is very straight and it's proper and it's in perspective. In that case, you don't want to just use, you know, you don't want to freehand that, because even the slightest of nuances in the slightest of nuances on the details will make that weapon look less believable. And so in which case I usually use a stabilization for stuff like that, you know, to get it to make sure it's nice and crispy. But I will say that, you know, if you're talking about learning in particular, I generally steer people away from using stabilization when they're first learning, because it oftentimes compensates and makes it so that you don't have to think about making nice crispy lines. But personally, I feel like part of the problem too with stabilization, if you're trying to learn, is that it causes you to slow down a bit as well. Because if you don't know how stabilization works, I'll show you an example. Stabilization basically goes in and it after you draw your line, it causes it to try to correct it afterwards. And so you end up sometimes with a kind of a laggy look. You see this? Look, notice how the flow there moves a little slow, right? So even though I can draw the line faster, it actually makes you go a little bit slower. And so you kind of have to like take your time to draw, and you're more focused on trying to get the stabilization to work, and instead of focusing on your actual lines and producing good quality lines. And so instead, this is kind of the brush I would use, like focus on making these lines more confident and stuff overall. But I think in general, stabilization's fine. I think there are many use cases for stabilization. I know plenty of artists who, for example, also have like arthritis or have particular issues with their shaky wrists or whatever. And so stabilization helps with that, if at all, right? But I think in general, if you're trying to learn, I would say steer away from it at first, and then later, you know, use it in your workflow as you see fit. But take what I say with a grain of salt, obviously. Also, Jimbo, hey, Jimbo, I'm gonna delete this comment. Look at Ayo Jimbo, ignore his comment. He knows nothing. I'm gonna purge you. Purge. Get out of here. I will shout you out though. They don't know. Jimbo doesn't know anything. Shout out to Jimbo. If you guys didn't know, we actually played Valorant together yesterday on stream. Thank you for the follows too, Tomb Raider Crumb, Egg Salite, and also Rat Bastard. Appreciate you guys coming in today. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we are doing drawing characters in perspective from imagination today. So if you guys have ever struggled with drawing from imagination or drawing characters in perspective, this right here is going to be that stream that I would recommend you guys practice, because this is a really fun practice and a fun exercise, but it's very difficult. And I think it's good though. I think this is the type of exercises I would highly recommend to anybody who says that they're struggling with drawing from imagination, and all of that stuff. Right. But yeah, that was a great question, Gren. What did he say? You'll never know. He may have revealed the character that I was working on my show. He may have, maybe he didn't. I don't know. I'm not going to confirm or deny anything. Okay. Let's just say that Jimbo is trying to leak info. He knows too much. We must silence him on my streams. I'm a genius? No, I'm just trolling. You don't know anything, bro. You know nothing, Jimbo. All right, shall we kind of draw this one out a little bit more now? So as you guys can see here, we knocked out here this pose. Again, trying to keep it nice and simple, right? So just drawing out here this different poses for this character. And overall, I do think that if you want to get kind of more comfortable with doing these things, it really is just a matter of practice and you know, going in here and getting comfortable with understanding the human body, some of the structures, but then using some of the techniques that I talked about here. Like for example, how we lined up we talked about lining up the knees, right? So we line up the knees here. We line up the aces of the pelvis right there. Maybe we should even warp it out a little bit more because it's going to be kind of going here. We're going to line up here the 10th, not the 10th rib, sorry, the clavicle there, right? And so we're using some of these general landmarks to help establish some rough, loose perspective, but we're not like super fixated. I'm not like, oh man, we got to make sure everything lines up exactly. Like, don't worry about that. But having a general kind of guideline, I think, is really helpful overall. But now let's kind of go in and let's actually start piecing out here the anatomy of this character just to make it look and feel a little bit more organic and lifelike. So we're not just drawing boxes all day. Thanks for quenching my thirst. What canvas size am I using? 4K resolution. Yeah, no worries. 4K resolution, 300 DPI, pretty standard. I think 300 DPI is kind of the gold standard if you ever want to print anything. You can go higher if you want to, but I think it shouldn't be nothing less than 300 DPI personally. There are some others who will debate that topic, so, you know, listen to them too. Thank you for the follows. GI, Marquisa, Carrie, Meko, and everybody else who's here right now. Let's see here. Peak Sigma Male Cowboy Bebop shirt. I do like the shirt. It's a pretty great shirt. But here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to work on some of the anatomy right now. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions you want to talk about or any prompts or topics, this is a great time to ask it while I go in here and just start drawing out some of this mannequin here. So yeah, please feel free to ask any questions, guys, if you have them. And yeah, otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today's stream. We're going to be doing one more pose. I think we have time for one more pose today. So we're going to do a very kind of dynamic pose after this one. So we're going to work on, we're going to do one from like a crazy top-down shot, I think, is we're going to try. Hopefully it works. How does one improve composition? Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at composition because most of what I do is already composed for me from storyboard artists and stuff. So we'll get stuff like we'll get the frames from storyboard artists, and they do all the hard work, all the big brain in there of coming up with cool shots and all of that, right? And so then I just have to make it look nice, or I work on character designs that iterate over that. But I would say from my understanding, one of the best ways to improve your composition is to just study from life and see how nature and all of that stuff composes things on a regular basis, but also two, study what other artists are doing. There's oftentimes a lot of different principles of like using rule of thirds, all of that stuff, right? But that's what I would say. Oh, my dog moved. Why'd he move? Let's see here. Do you have any good cheats for you learned over time when it comes to folds? Actually, I'm gonna tell you two things. One, day number 27. So we're on day 24, but day 27 of my boot camp, we're actually going to be covering how to draw clothing folds. But also last year, I actually taught how to do clothing folds, and I'll show you guys that example really quick. So when we do cover clothing folds, we're going to be going over things like how to look at the tension points of clothing. We're going to be looking at how to simplify the design by using small, medium, large shapes. We're going to talk a bit about gravity, how to simplify the look for those of you who are maybe wanting to go for more of an anime style and not necessarily the realistic style. And so we're going to be going over this demo or a variation of this demo on day 27 of my bootcamp. But if you guys want to get access to the previous bootcamp and stuff that we did, do consider subscribing or checking out my Gumroad, where I have there all the stuff from last year that I covered, all the days. But yeah, if you guys just want to wait for the free version, the one that I'll be teaching again in a couple of days, or whenever I decide to do it, that'll be day 27, I believe. And we're going to be covering all the tips and tricks and stuff of clothing. Let me see here. Thanks for the follow, Rodman. Appreciate that. I don't know why. I don't know why my dog moved. How can you be creative every day as a professional artist? Oof, that's a tough question. You try to make time for it. That's honestly all I could say is, like, sometimes you don't have time and you just have to, like, find those little moments in the day, whether it's like you got like an hour in the day to just draw for yourself. And that's actually something I struggle with still, is like finding time now that I work professionally and stuff, and most of my time is spent drawing for other people. You know, like, how do you find time to do stuff for yourself? And I think that really is, yeah, you kind of just have to, make that time, you know, whether it's putting an hour in or 10 minutes in and just drawing for yourself, drawing something fun and interesting. But it is tough. It's a very tough thing that I know a lot of my co-workers and a lot of my professional buddies, it's something that we kind of struggle with sometimes, right? It's like, you get tired of just drawing. you're tired of drawing for work, and then it's like, I don't really know if I want to draw again for myself. But you kind of have to find that balance, find what works best. That's a great question. It's a great question with a very tough answer, because it varies so much. Thank you for the follows, Death Lover and Pastel Colored Penguin. That's a great name. Also, Hiana Axe. Appreciate the follows today, guys. He loves you and wants to be. Yeah, that's right. Either that or he wants to leave. He's like, get me out, please, Dad. Get me out of here, bro. You kept me in this room. You kept me in the stream room for too long. I'm cooking. Let me out of here. I'll let you guys say hi to my dog. I'll show him on camera in a bit. When you're drawing 24/7 personal work or professional, it gets tired. That's what I'm going through right now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's tough. And I would say the best thing you can really do for yourself is just try to find time in the day to do stuff for yourself. But also sometimes too, it's good to try to do stuff that's just so different from what you do regularly. So for me, I draw. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say what I do for work, but let's just say I draw a lot of, like, you know, the style and stuff is very much that anime style, right? It's kind of like the Castlevania look and all that stuff. And so sometimes when I'm drawing for myself, I'll try to vary my style a little bit, or maybe I'll do a style study of a different artist that I really like, just to kind of have fun with it and see what I can come up with overall. But I do think that in general, taking breaks and finding time for yourself is a good recipe for healthy longevity as an artist. Okay, we're slowly building up this form here. Really fun, fun but difficult exercise, without a doubt. Let me give her some more glutes, man. There you go. Let's see. Oh wow, a lot of comments out here. Welcome in, guys. Let's see. Drawbox. Oh yeah, Drawbox is really good too. Yeah, I think Drawbox is actually a really great website. But yeah, let me know in the chat for those of you who are here watching and stuff. Have you found this stuff helpful so far? Was there anything in particular that you were like, oh, wow, I didn't know about that, Kaycem, or I didn't think about it that way? Yeah, let me know. Let me know in the chat if you found any of this stuff helpful. Maybe you'll try it out yourself. I don't know. How many of you guys are down to try this? Let me ask that maybe. Put an F in the chat if you're kind of like, Kaycem, you know what? I want to try to do this exercise. Let's see. Come on. Show of hands in the chat. Don't be afraid. How many of you are going to actually try to do this? Watch there be no F's in the chat. There's crickets out here. People are like, no, I'm good, man. I don't want to try this. No. Maybe another day. Not today. I'm chilling. Okay. All right. We'll kind of keep it like that. Try what? Try this exercise. Try doing something similar to this exercise where you guys take a reference image and then you rotate that reference image from imagination for funsies and see how it goes. Hearing your story and how you came back later in life to art is super inspiring to me. I'm in a similar boat. Yeah. Well, first of all, that's super awesome to hear that you found my story inspiring. I'm always shocked when someone tells me like, yeah, your stuff is inspiring. And I'm like, really? I don't know. I never thought of myself as like being an inspirational figure on the internet or anything. I think it's more so just like me sharing my story. And if that helps you out in any way, then that's great. And that's all that I can ask for, is I can help other people out on their journey. But yeah, no, I understand how you feel, man. Like it's so tough sometimes to feel like you want to pursue something, but maybe you feel like it's too late for you, or you feel like, maybe you feel like other people are just way better, and you're kind of wondering, you're kind of like sitting there with yourself and you're thinking like, man, what am I doing? Like, should I really be pursuing this thing? this thing that clearly other people are so much better at, that kind of stuff. So I think if there's anything I want to give to say to people who are in that situation right now, where you maybe feel like you want to get better, or you want to chase your passion of being an artist, but you just feel like it's a little late. I would say it's never too late, thankfully, especially in this industry, it's never too late. But also, take your time and enjoy really the process of being an artist and having fun with that, because I think all too often we get caught up in all the social media and what we see and hear about how other people are doing all this stuff and getting better right away. And you're kind of like, man, it's too late. Oh, wow. Thanks for the raid. Wait a minute. Maya, how's it going? I was actually watching your stream. Was it like 2 days ago or 3 days ago? Shoot. Let me give you a proper shout out. Thanks again for the raid, Maya. Really do appreciate it. Hopefully you're doing well out here. You guys don't know who Maya is. They're an incredible artist out here on Twitch. They do some super, super cool stuff. Let me actually show it to you guys. Maybe we'll go there really quick. I was, no joke, watching your stream the other day. Let me see which one I was watching. I think I was watching the one from 2 days ago. This one looks familiar. Yeah, but they do some cool stuff. They do some cool characters and stuff. Highly recommend you check out their stuff. Great vibes out there on Twitch. So leave them a follow, guys, if you haven't yet. And for those of you who are coming in here from my streams, welcome in. My name is Kaycem. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania, and also currently right now prepping to work on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, or you're looking to just watch a stream there, hang out with my dog, do leave a follow out here. Again, we cover a lot of topics out here on my stream, and today is actually talking about how to draw characters in perspective from imagination. So I'm showing you guys how to start off with a pose like this, how to rotate that pose while still utilizing some of the landmarks, and then from there kind of pushing the perspective further and further until we get into something that's a little bit more dramatic. So it's a tough exercise today for sure, but I think it's one that I think anyone can do with a little bit of practice and some determination. But there you go. That's a little bit about me. Thanks again for all the follows out here today. I'm assuming all the follows are maybe from the raid, possibly. I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you guys are all coming in from the raid. Why am I looking at this? Because I think you got raided in. I believe you're coming in from Maya's raid. If not, I don't know. I don't know how you ended up here. Sometimes Twitch just decides to drop viewers on the platform. Yeah, maybe you guys are bots. Oh shoot, not the bots. Don't tell me. Say it ain't so, chat. You guys are not bots, right? Queen Mev from Thronebreaker. I wish I knew who that was, but that's cool. Hey, there you go. We're drawing some fan art. I didn't even know. But yeah, no, I don't really know a lot of characters, unfortunately. I'm a pretty basic guy. I was actually thinking originally, like, this is how much League of Legends has rotted my brain, but originally I was actually gonna draw this as Sejuani. I was like, you know what we could do? We could draw like a bear here like this, and got the ears and all of that. Look at this little derpy bear. Oh my gosh, it's Sejuani. Wait, does she ride a bear, or is it a pig? I was gonna do that with you guys, but I was like, nah. I don't want them to know that I'm hooked on League of Legends. We're not gonna do that. It's a bear. I think it's a bear, right? Is it a hog? I don't know what it is. It's a boar. Oh shoot! Hold on. Okay. There you go. Hog Rider, baby, let's go. Hey, oh, it looks so cute. It actually looks so cute. There you go. Sejuani fan art. Hey, this is real. This is real Sejuani art. Okay, I'm not a fake Sejuani fan. Maybe a little. Yeah. Wow. Let me undo all that. We're not keeping that. That's questionable at best. How do we draw organic shapes in perspective? I mean, we're doing it now, right? Like, all of the shapes of the human body are all organic shapes, but notice how we started off by just using non-organic shapes, and from those organic shapes, leveraging that as landmarks to be able to piece in all these components. So this is kind of what I'll say is, like, yeah, you can start off with box, you can start with organic shapes, but I think generally speaking, if you can understand the simplified shapes that we're seeing here, then you'll be able to kind of go in and really, I think, easily lock in some of the more complicated perspective and anatomy proportions of the more organic shapes that you might be seeing. Thanks for the follows, Debito, and everybody else coming in here. AI can program Bing in 2 hours but can't solve CAPTCHA. That is true. That is true. Yeah, is this an art class for those of you wondering? Yes. I teach art out here on Twitch, and so mostly what I cover out here is educational tutorial content. If you guys like that, and or maybe you just like to play some stuff while you're working and all that, yeah, this is my stream. This is what we do. I've been teaching art on Twitch for about a year now, actually, which is kind of dope. And it's been a good run, honestly. I'm really glad that I started teaching art on Twitch, because I feel like it's made streaming for me feel more, I don't know, it feels like I'm bringing more value to the platform, because there's not as much people who teach art and stuff, and surprisingly there's a good number of you who are actually here to learn and eager to learn. So I'm thankful for you guys for even making educational content on Twitch a viable thing. But you know, I don't know. I also think it helps me get better as well as an artist as I continue to develop my own personal skills and stuff. Being able to go in here and actually cover these topics with you guys has been really great for me as well. So hope you guys enjoy it. Enjoy all my content. I try to make it fun on the side, but yeah. It's an art class, except that one time it turned into a math class and I got scared. You mean last stream? Last stream when I was explaining how to do dynamic perspective and we talked about geometry, and I explained to you guys, also shout out to One Piece. I drew some One Piece characters last stream. We talked about how you can use geometric forms to recede boxes in perspective. Yeah. That definitely did get a little mathematical, and I apologize. Okay, I scared some of you. Were like, Kaycem, please, you're giving me PTSD of my math classes back in high school. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, but surprise, surprise. Art is a very interesting topic that I feel like covers some of those topics about, like, you know, covers some math if you really want to get into it. Covers some medical stuff like anatomy, right? If you really want to get into it. And yo, how's it going, Danny? Welcome back in. Thanks for the lessons. Appreciate that, Jethelion. Yo, dude, what's going on here, guys? All right, look, chat, we gotta ban him today. John Shu, also known as John Snow, because you know nothing. What's going on? I thought this guy was a regular viewer. Damn, we got some bots out here. Let me go ahead and block him, I guess, guys. What happened, man? Crazy. F's in the chat. Actually, not even F's in the chat. Claps in the chat, man. CLAP's in the chat for a goofer out here. See ya. That's rough, buddy. Who? Never heard of them. They don't exist. Not on my streams. What's going on? Wilding out here today. People on Twitch sometimes are crazy. But yeah, anyways, I'm assuming the rest of you bots are chilling, right? If you're a bot right now, just know what you're getting yourself into. This stream ain't the one to be trifling with out here. All right, my community don't mess around. And by my community, I mean me. I don't mess around. Damn. The rest of the bots are quaking right now. Not a bot, just lurking for Maya's raid. Thank you, Saucy. I appreciate all you guys. I know most of you guys are not bots. Okay, probably only half of you guys are bots today. So I'm sure you guys are all chill. You guys are all cool. But yeah, anyways, let's kind of wrap up on this one, because I do want to make sure we have time for that final pose here today. So let me go ahead and kind of quickly draw out the head, which I think is going to be a tough one, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Wide jaw here. Neck goes back right here on the mandible. We got here the neck, we got here the trachea, as well as there's one bone here I always forget about. What's that bone? The hyoid bone of the neck right here. That's going to go down this way like so. Then we're going to have here the shoulder, kind of collarbone stuff, kind of go up top right there. On the back side right here, we're going to have the ear. Behind the ear, that's going to tuck back, is going to be the sternocleidomastoid, which we're going to bring down this way. And then we're going to wrap down the rest of the neck for that portion there of the neck. And we've got there our general anatomy for that neck portion. If you guys are interested, by the way, in learning how to draw necks and how to draw heads, that is actually day one of my character design bootcamp. So we talk about the fundamentals of drawing a head and how to draw heads and necks and all that stuff from different angles. Highly recommend you guys check that out. That's day one of my bootcamp. I kid you guys not. One of my goals out here on Twitch and on as a content creator in general is to give out educational content that is as good as art schools and do it as free and as sustainable as I can, while making it as accessible to everybody watching. So If you guys like the bootcamp content, you can either check out the first couple days that I release every 2 weeks on my YouTube channel, or if you want to subscribe and jump ahead and check out my more recent VODs, that'll give you access as well. So subscribing to my streams will give you access to the more recent VODs, as well as all the worksheets and PSDs and stuff. But if you guys just want, again, just the free stuff out there, I do upload all of these videos eventually over to YouTube. It just takes a little bit of time for my editors to clean it up and all that stuff. But otherwise, yeah. But there you go. Wow, look at this pose. We did it. This one was a tough one, man. I think the second one we did, not as hard, because it's like, it's not that crazy of a pose, I would say. It's honestly a pretty chill pose. Not too difficult. Also, how does this song end up on my playlist every time? I hate that song. It always sneaks its way into my playlist. Little get out of there. How'd you end up on my playlist? Wild. Every time I need to just find that and remove it. It's your theme song, I guess. I don't want that to be my theme song. What the heck? It's the Matrix. Yeah. It's a sign. It's like someone's telling me to wake up. They're like, Kaycem, wake up, Kaycem. They keep trying to play this song, and then I just ignore it. I just blatantly ignore that song, and I'm like, dude, get this out of here. we're all in a simulation right now. They're trying to get me out of the simulation with that one song. It's not working though. Unfortunately, it's not ringing. Wake up, Kaycem. Kaycem, it's 2006. They're playing another episode of Jackie Chan Adventures. Wake up. Ah, nostalgia days. Anyone here ever woken up for Saturday morning cartoons? Surely a large majority of my audience are not babies. So I would say a good number of you guys actually probably had Saturday morning cartoons. Now, I know that there are, for example, my nephew. I always talk about my nephew. Sorry to my nephew, but my nephew, man, I tried to explain to him one time how back in my days, back when I was a youngster, we would wake up super early in the Saturday morning so we could watch cartoons that came out. And then my nephew would be like, what? But like, you can just watch it on Netflix. Why do you have to wake up early? And I'm like, because it was the one time in the week where they released stuff. Okay. We didn't have the internet to just pull up all of those crazy whatever videos that come out on, Netflix and stuff. He didn't understand, man. He didn't get it that we used to go to a physical DVD store to rent out movies. I'd be like, yeah, there's this thing called Blockbuster. It was down the street. We would go there like every Friday when they would release the new DVDs for that week. And he was just looking at me like, why? He's like, why do you do that? That makes no sense. I'm like, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Okay. You kids could never understand the joy of waking up on a Saturday morning and knowing that you were going to watch some good stuff. It's okay. We walked so these kids could run. Or the consoles and games from the stores of rentals. Oh, true. Yes. The good old days. Look at us all sounding old right now. Maybe we should do a test. I'm gonna ask you guys questions that only old timers know. All right, let's see here. We can ask. This could be a fun one. Kids these days, I know this is how you know we're getting old. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm saying these things. I'm getting old, guys. Help. All right, let me ask a question. Let me think. Questions in the chat. Good, easy questions. What's a question that only old timers know? Let me think about this. Okay, here's a question. Okay, what is MapQuest? What is MapQuest? Ooh, is it a D&D game? Is MapQuest an old school video game? Is it a journey that one takes as a rite of passage when they are a teenager? Honestly, kind of true. What is MapQuest? Let me see, guys. Oh, I hated those map quest days. I remember my dad being like, make sure you print the map quest, and then we're driving, and then I'm like, yo, we missed a turn. I wasn't paying attention. Dude, driving back in those days were so stressful. You don't know map quest, but you know checks quest? What's that? I don't know that one. I don't know checks quest. But maybe I do, but I don't know that one. Ads, are there ads running right now? Oh yeah, guys, I do run ads on my stream every hour, but one's not running right now. I think one will be running in about 10 minutes or so. The best way to learn how to go to a city from your small town. Yeah. Okay. All right. A few of you. Interesting here. Okay. I'll give you guys a harder. Oh, it was an old video game. I don't think I ever played that one. All right. Let me give you guys a harder question. All right. That one's a little too easy. Okay. Here's a slightly harder question. Okay. Back in the days when you had to turn on the internet and there'd be a little butterfly icon that would go like this as it's loading your internet. What type the sound that is being made by that butterfly. Let's see if you guys can do it. Okay, AOL dial-up internet is a little butterfly, a little flying butterfly you're loading up. What's the sound that it makes? Can you type it? You're too young for this? Yeah, see, now I know. Some of y'all showing your age out here. I think it was a butterfly, right? Am I crazy? Can you even write that sound? You can try. You can try to write it. And hey, Golden Llama, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate the follow out here. Thank you guys. You don't remember the sound? It's like I don't know. I can't do it anymore. I've forgotten the sound as well. I just know it's something like that. Some approximation of buzzing and so forth. Maybe it didn't have a butterfly. Maybe I'm imagining. I'm like, it's like that Mandela effect of butterflies. All right, you guys are doing pretty well. Honestly, I'm actually genuinely surprised. Let me see here. What's another good one? Oh, here's a good one. Okay. I think someone already said this earlier. Someone knew I was going to ask this, but I'm going to ask it again. All right. This right here. Let's see how many of you guys are old timers, okay? This is a double whammy, okay? The Rugrats movie VHS. See, I already know some of you are like, huh? What's a VHS? But the Rugrats movie VHS, what color was it? What color was the Rugrats movie VHS? It was a very iconic color. Okay. I'm pretty sure it only came in one color. Maybe it came in multiple. I'm pretty sure it only came in one. As far as I know, there's only one true color that I care about. That's correct. Orange. Not bad. Congratulations. You've all proven to me that you are all old timers like myself. Be proud in that, guys. All right, well, anyways, we've got here this pose. We've knocked out here 1, 2. We changed up the pose here. Let's go ahead and color this one out, and then we'll jump into doing the final version of this pose, which I think will be the hardest version out here today. We're not old, just seasoned. I like that. That's good. We're all just seasoned out here. You know? Okay. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, man. It's crazy how time flies. How is it already 2023? I'm still baffled to this day how I feel like the pandemic really screwed up a lot of people's perspective of time. Like, yes, it's true that as you get older, time gets a little bit weirder and things start to blur more. But I really do feel like the pandemic really, really, I feel like skewed the perception of time for everybody. Yo, thank you, Tomix. Appreciate the gifted sub to Balozna. Sorry, I'm struggling to say the name. But thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Thank you for the follow too, Joha. We also got a few other follows. Pervy Sheep, Yasau, David Zavala. Thank you guys for all the follows today. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream so far and maybe even following along for those of you who are here and stuff. But yeah, it's been a good stream so far. I've actually been really enjoying today. I love Saturday streams, man. To me, Saturday streams are arguably one of my favorite streams. favorite times to stream on Twitch, just because I feel like because it's the weekend, everyone is so much more chill and relaxed. But like on the weekdays, I feel like even I'm a little bit stressed because it's like I have to finish at a particular time. I got to make sure that I cover all my topics before I jump over to work and stuff. So I think even I'm a little bit more tensed up on my weekday streams, but the weekend streams, we're chilling, man. We're out here having fun. We grew up without streaming. We appreciate it more than those born into it. Yeah, no, that's true, man. I feel like kids these days, they're just like, yeah, we can watch whatever we want, whenever we want on Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever. They didn't have to wait and struggle. Okay. They didn't know what it was like waiting for a whole week to watch an episode of something that eventually becomes just a rerun episode. Oh man, those days were heartbreaking. You guys remember those days? You'd wait for an episode and then you'd turn it on and you're just like, this is a rerun. This is an actual rerun. Oh no. And then you're like, when is it gonna be, man? When are we gonna get those days? Good times. Good times. I miss those days. Things were not canceled as easily too. Yeah, that's true. I feel like nowadays, dude, it's crazy. The turnaround of shows nowadays is so short. You'll have one season of a show that was actually really decent and then people cancel it right away because they're like, it didn't give us the views on our streams that we wanted. Back in the days, you had to give a show at least like 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's different problems, I guess. Yeah, DVRs. Yeah, I remember DVRs. All right, so let's go in now, guys. So we've knocked in here a couple poses already. Let's go do one final one. I think this is going to be the hardest one out here. I wanted to always save the hardest one for last because I like to see you guys suffer. No, I'm kidding. It's honestly because I feel like if we save the hardest one for last here, I think this one will hopefully warm us up into being able to do some of the more difficult stuff for today's stream. All right. Anyone remember Kim Possible? Of course, Kim Possible. Yeah, she got the naked mole rat. No, that's the other guy. But yes, I remember Shigo. Ooh, Shigo. Anyways. Don't even get me started on Shigo. Let's go ahead and do one final crazy pose out here. Now, really quick, guys, I do run ads on my stream every hour. One's going to be running right about now. So if you do get an ad, thank you again for sticking around for the ad break. They do help keep my streams monetarily viable and allow me to do what I'm doing out here on Twitch. But if you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub out here. But either way, thank you for the support. And I hope to see you guys after the ad break. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the final pose here. And for this one, we're going to just go ham. Okay. I'm going to say, let's take this pose and let's go do a nice top down shot. All right. So what's going to be happening in this pose is basically here, we're going to have a couple things going on. We're going to have a dramatic shot with some 3-point perspective, right? Some depth of field right there as the vanishing points go here. And then we're also going to have vanishing points going downward like this. And then to keep it nice and simple for myself, I'm going to make these lines nice and parallel so that way my head doesn't explode, because that would suck if we have to tilt that one as well too. Also, here's my dog. He's happy today. He's happy to see you guys. Yeah, you guys want to, I'll give him a treat for you guys. We'll do it during the ad break, so that way, yeah. We gotta liquefy this. All right, so this is what we're gonna be doing, all right? This is gonna be the final pose right here. We're basically taking the shot and we're looking down at this character. I think this will be a fun one. It'll be a tough one, but I think once we knock this one out, I feel like you guys will be good, right? You guys, hopefully you guys are following so far, right? Not too crazy so far, but yeah, let me give you guys, let me introduce my dog for you guys really quick. His name is Arrow. He's an Akita, and we'll do it during the ad break. Excuse me, buddy. Beep, beep, beep. All right, here we go. Oh, thank you for the follows too. Jew Boss, Indubitable. It's a great name. And 7 Melons. Appreciate that. All right. Teach me the art secrets. Yeah, practice. Watch a lot of YouTube videos. I got my YouTube videos as well. Check out my Twitch streams. And here's my dog. Come here, bud. There you go. All right, here's the real teacher of my streams. His name is Arrow. He's a Nikita, and he's got lots of secrets for you guys. Right, buddy? Ugh, why are you drooling so much? Ugh. Oh, you're drooling, my boy. Ah, you drooled all over my leg. Yeesh. Let's see here. That was my sister's family or sister's kid's dog name too. Oh, really? Wow. I feel like there's not a lot of people that name their dogs Arrow. That's super dope. Giveaways? Yeah, we're running a giveaway right now. Sure. Indie Dino, Indubitable. Thank you for the follows, everybody who's coming in here today. It's in the front profile. Which one? Wait, what? I was going to ask why the ear is placed where it was in the low perspective, but then I see that it's in front profile. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's in front profile view. It's she's looking up a little bit. Wow, thank you so much. So many follows today, man. Dynamics are one of the hardest things to draw. Yes, so we're covering that today. I'm showing you guys how to draw perspective poses from imagination today. And so we're going to be just laying out here a few examples for everybody who's coming in today. Yeah, it's a little bit about me. Let's see here. There's a lot of you guys coming in just now, which is insane. Thank you so much. Let me see here. Scrolling through the chat, scrolling through real quick. Yeah, grab some virtual tea if you want. That is what we have here. virtual tea. I'm going to use this box here just to make it nice and easy for myself to not have to redraw everything again. But here we go. We're going to be using this box now, and we're going to draw here. Again, we're going to keep drawing the same pose, but this time we're going to do it from a different angle. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this one now, right? So we have here this pose in this box. Let me lower the opacity a little bit, and let's start building it up again from the top up, all right? And also, yeah, welcome in all the people who are new here. Thank you for all the follows. And have I ever had art block? Yes, I've definitely had some art block. I'll share with you guys some of the tips I have about art block as well. Why not? But yeah, really quick, let me give an intro for myself, since apparently there's a lot of you guys that were new here today, and that's super dope. So I give an intro usually every hour out here on my stream, just for people who are coming in and stuff for the first time. But yeah, for those of you who are new, welcome in. My name is Kaycem. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective, to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, you guys are looking to level up your skills and all that stuff, do leave a follow out here on streams, and also check out my YouTube channel as well if you guys want more of my longer tutorial videos over there. But right now I'm actually prepping to work as a character designer on shows such as Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible, and all that stuff. So most of my tips and topics that we cover out here on my streams are going to be ones that I think you don't have to be, again, interested in animation or anime to enjoy. But I will say that these are general tips overall. But again, I think most of my focus is primarily in the animation industry. So I'm not going to talk too much about rendering and stuff like that, which I know some of you guys have asked me questions about. I don't work in the game industry, which I think rendering is much more prevalent. But, you know, again, I think you can use a lot of these general tips. So, oh, nice. Yeah. Castlevania is pretty cool. Invincible is pretty cool too. Yes. Are you an awesome case? Oh, you are an awesome and inspiring guy. Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate that. You guys are too nice today. Hello. What the heck? Thank you so much for the kind words, everybody. But yeah, hopefully you guys are vibing with today's stream. Again, we're going to be changing here the perspective, but we're still going to utilize as much of the landmarks as we can to kind of lock in here the depth here that we have of this form. So here we're going to be seeing the character in kind of this top view, a very difficult perspective for sure. But again, I think as we start approaching it out and start thinking more about the general shapes, I think it becomes a little bit easier overall, I think, when you start to focus on the primary like general shapes first, and then from those general shapes start building out some of the anatomy that we might have afterwards on top, right? So yes, it's true, dynamic poses are difficult and scary, but it can be manageable, especially with all the amount of foreshortening that we're doing here on this particular pose. By the way, again, if you guys are interested, I do have a boot camp out here on Twitch. Let me drop that really quick for you guys. I do have a boot camp right here. Okay. And I also have resources that are available. So the boot camp is actually free to join, by the way. So everyone can join the boot camp. All that I ask is you guys, one, obviously follow my streams, come check me out when I'm live. But if you guys go to the Discord channel, you'll actually find today's worksheet. So this was the original reference that we used, and I'm showing you guys how to draw the same pose in different angles. Here's what we covered on day 21, where I talked a bit about the proportions of the human body. So very useful for today's stream. And then I'm also giving you guys 2 sheets for free, which is the skeletal and muscular anatomy of the head, as well as the skeletal and muscular anatomy of the torso. So make sure you grab both of these sheets, guys. They're available for free on my Discord channel, but they're only available while I'm live. So when my stream is over, those will be gone. And if you're watching from my YouTube channel, make sure you come into my live streams. The community is super dope out here. Only half of my viewers are bots and crazy. The other half are regular viewers. I'm not gonna say who's who. I'm not gonna say who's who, but you guys know. My crazy viewers know who you are. What's happening after the end of the 30-day boot camp? Do you restart? Nope, we do a new one. So we do a different boot camp. We're going to be focusing on different topics. So after this 30-day boot camp, we're going to be focusing on another boot camp, which will be focused on primarily drawing character variations. So I'll be showing you in that 30-day boot camp how to draw male characters, female characters, children, elderly, teenagers, adults, skinny characters, buff characters, fat characters. And so that boot camp will be focused on drawing variations of characters, whereas this boot camp is primarily focused on some of the fundamentals. So yeah, hopefully that sounds exciting to some of you guys. I know some of you have mentioned how you're looking for something like that. But yeah, that is primarily what we're going to be focusing on for my next boot camp. And then after we finish that 30-day boot camp, I'll have another boot camp for you guys, covering a whole different set of other topics. Yeah. Oof. I missed the infamous perspective stream 2.0. It's okay, because you guys know these are always available on my Twitch page, but also they will be available on YouTube as well too, right? So just keep that in mind. These will be available to check out on my YouTube channel. Here. Tough luck. That's rough, buddy. No. Again, guys, don't worry. If you weren't here for it, it's okay, because again, you'll find a lot of these things on my YouTube channel, which actually has been growing a lot recently. We've been uploading for the past, I think, month and a half now. It's maybe 2 months. And we've already hit 5K subscribers on YouTube. So thank you so much for everybody who comes out and checks out my streams, checks out my YouTube videos. Really do appreciate all the support out here. Thank you for the claps. It honestly means a lot to me, because I really didn't think we would grow so quickly, because again, I mostly upload very long videos, right? I upload a lot of the long tutorials and stuff, which I know that is not necessarily the most popular thing to upload on YouTube, but apparently we've found a community, we've found a group of people who are looking for that, and I think that's super dope. Whew, what a tough pose. What a tough pose. But there you go. We've got here the rough kind of structure here. I'm going to add some more details in here, obviously, to make it look less like a boxy mannequin and more like an actual human body. But again, I wanted to show you guys how we can take, again, some of these mannequin structures and utilize these mannequin structures, to be able to develop more complex poses and stuff in perspective, because I really do think that if you can do this, I'm telling you now, everything else is actually a lot easier. I think it's actually super easy to draw all the details on top. This is where I think the really, really tough stuff comes in, because you have to kind of figure out how volume works. You have to really get comfortable with foreshortening. You got to get comfortable with perspective, proportions, right? But I think this is a good test and a great way, a great exercise to start being able to draw characters, drawing characters from imagination and stuff. Let me actually take this head and I'm going to bring it closer here. A little bit more overlap there on the face. All right, so with that being said, let me go ahead and quickly just draw out some of the forms. And then I think what we'll do is we will do the raffle spin, because we do have to do a raffle spin today. We're going to be giving out a prize for one lucky person out here, because we did hit our bits goal. And then we'll close off the stream with a nice little juicy finale. Oh, thank you for the follow, D Blaze. D Blaze. Okay, there you go. If you guys have any questions, by the way, feel free to ask them right now. This is probably the best time to ask questions while I'm just laying out here some of the anatomy and the forms. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. This is, again, a stream that I'm not just here to draw for you guys. You know, I'm here to help you guys out and answer any questions you guys might have. And you know, I try to keep it the way that I think about my streams. It's kind of like mentorship almost, in a way where, you know, if you guys aren't able to afford mentorship or something, but you might be struggling with something in your art journey, you know, feel free to ask and treat my streams as such. Juicy finale. Hey, look, you take it as you will. All right. The way that you guys interpret my words, that's on you. That's not on me. Let's see here. Showing me how to draw for free. Yeah. Yes. That's one of my goals. How to improve your skills for free, guys. Thank you for the follow, Papita, and also D Blaze, and also 9,000 Teg. Welcome in. How do we begin to understand the neck and the trap muscles from all perspectives? Check out my check out my YouTube channel. I'll show you guys really quick. I'll do a quick little detour. If you guys scroll to my YouTube channel and you guys go to the 2023 Character Design Bootcamp, no joke, here is that video, how to draw the head and the neck, basic to advanced. We go over all the muscles of the neck, all the components there. We then talk about, your next question is how to draw heads from any angle. That is this video right here. And then we also go over, for talking about the traps and stuff, day number 7 is actually how to easily draw any torso and body type, which will of course also go over the trap muscles and stuff. And then I think tomorrow I'll be releasing the how to draw the torso from back view, which will talk a little bit more about the trap muscles as well too. So again, check out my YouTube channel. The questions you're asking right now, I already got them covered. We cooked them out here. We made them in here. Thank you so much for the follows today. Wow. No, you're good. No, don't apologize. I just wanted to show you guys, let you guys know that they exist. Thank you for the follows. New Age Pixie, Street M, XA004Y. Welcome in. Sheesh. So many people coming in. Glad to have you guys on here today. I hope you don't know you, but you wanted to share your secret about art block. Oh shoot, you're right. Okay. Sure. The secret about dealing with art block. I think dealing with art block comes down to, I think, a couple of things. One, it comes down to being able to build discipline. So building good habits to draw even when you don't feel motivated. Because oftentimes I hear a lot of artists who tell me like, oh, Kaycem, I'm not really motivated today, this and that, you know? And I think being able to discipline yourself in a way that lets you draw without having to feel like you have to wait for some sort of spark of motivation to come in, I think is actually very valuable. And the way that you build discipline, obviously, is to keep working at your stuff, but also doing it in a way that I think is sustainable to you. So sometimes I get people who come in with their New Year's resolution. They're like, Kaycem, I'm going to draw every day. I'm going to draw every day. It's going to be my goal for the new year. How many of you guys have ever said something like that? Like, oh man, I'm going to be such a good artist this year. I'm going to draw like crazy. Last year, I was kind of holding myself back. This year is going to be different, right? Hold on there, Honcho. Hold on. Pace yourself. Instead of trying to be like, I'm going to draw crazy every day, just tell yourself, you know, I'm going to draw like 5 minutes every day. I'm going to draw 10 minutes every day. And here's the crazy reality. A lot of people don't realize this, but you actually spend a ridiculous amount of time using your phone and on social media and stuff. And so realistically, anyone who tells me like, Kaycem, I really don't have time in my day, I don't even got like 10 minutes or something. Come on. I know you guys can, because if I break down the time right now for you guys, you'll actually find that you'll have plenty of time in your day. So here's an example of this, right? Let's take a look at your average day. So let's say you sleep 10 hours a day. Okay, sure. And let's say you even work 10 hours a day, right? So you're doing a lot more than the average 8 hours a day. You're sleeping more than the average time a day. So that's already 20 hours out of your 24 days, which leaves you with 4 hours. Let's say 2 of those hours you give away for eating, cooking, cleaning, whatever have you, right? So that's 22 hours out of the 24 hours in the day. That still leaves you with 2 hours in the day for you to do whatever you want. And interestingly enough, I actually learned this statistic recently, but the average person is on their phone for about 4 hours a day. So if you have ever felt like, man, Kaycem, I feel like I just don't have time to do things anymore. The reality is, yeah, you don't, because you're spending most of your time on your phone. So all that free time that you could have had, you're using it elsewhere. And again, I'm being super generous with the time. They're like 10 hours of sleep. Let's be real, guys. Put an F in the chat if you haven't had 10 hours of sleep in a while. You're like, Kaycem, I'm lucky to get 6 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Put an F in the chat. So I'm telling you, 10 hours of sleep is already a lot. So if you take in like the average actually, so let's just say people are not actually sleeping 10 hours and you're sleeping 8 hours a day, right? Like that is actually so much free time in your day, 4 hours a day to be doing other things like drawing and all that stuff. But you got to be able to set a schedule for yourself, keep true to that. And I think that'll be better for you in the long run, right? Now, really quick. Okay, so basically here we've done out this pose. Basically, this is mostly done for you guys, but I wanted just to show you really quick how this looks like. But you can kind of imagine from this pose right here, you'll kind of notice here how we're going to be kind of laying out here, all of that stuff, all the anatomy, and you'll see that's kind of it. That's kind of all we're doing right now. I'm softening out a lot of the lines, softening out a lot of the details. And this is how I approach drawing these type of poses and scenes from different angles. Super nice and flexible.